um, relatively easily. One thing about this campaign is that there's not a lot of problematic subject matter and things that a lot of people that could probably be an issue. But I will bring up the stuff that is here so that you guys are aware, and you can let me know either now or through a DM whether how you feel about them. One thing I do want to go over is that because it's a magic campaign where you guys are going to be doing a lot of spell stuff, and also the campaign is spans across many years. I definitely want to kind of lock down how you guys feel about pacing and what we're going to be doing with magic. There's something I really want to do with magic that I'll show you guys in a bit, and then we'll talk about how pacing works in this campaign. For the most part, I'll start off with saying, I'm happy you guys are my players, and that I'm looking forward to running you guys through this adventure. Like after reading through all 6 books and like kind of going through all the prep that I've been doing, I'm really excited. And the adventure is pretty lighthearted, which is nice. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys get through this. There's some crazy stuff that happens. There's one part that I'm really excited that when you guys get to, so I'm looking forward to when we start next week. So let's start off with this list. 1 second. Okay. All right. So top of big things at the top. Housekeeping stuff. We're gonna be doing milestone for this campaign. It is a 1 to 20 campaign. We're gonna be doing milestone. They have a lot of stuff listed for XP, and there's like a rule in the book about like, hey,
God.
there's stuff. They're gonna be a lot of stuff can be solved without fighting stuff. So give them XP for doing this thing without fighting. And I'm like, I'm not even worried about that. We're just gonna do milestone, and there's a big list of like when you guys should be certain levels. So we're gonna do milestone.
Nice. For that, for sure.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Alcohol. You guys are adults. You guys do what you gotta do. I don't think it's gonna be any problem with the group here, but it's here. Player attention. For player attention, I'm fine with we have an AFK button for a reason. If you gotta go ahead and take care of something, there's that. I don't mind repeating every once in a while, but it is a bit of an issue if it like becomes an issue and we have to. We can. I'll give you guys a link to the guide. Here, I'll dump it in the chat here. Here it is. So yeah. As long as it doesn't become a disruption for the game where like it's your turn and you weren't paying attention and we can't fill you in real quick. That's all about it. Disruptive topics. I mean, we're here to play D&D, so D&D. We're here to play Pathfinder. Oh man.
What's
going on?
Oh shit! Are we
Right here. Oh no. We're here to play. Pathfinder. So let's kind of focus on that. There might be some things, and when we get to like some of the topics that are in this campaign, there might be some topics that could relate to real world stuff. And if it comes up, we know it comes up, but like we don't want to focus on it. Unannounced roles. Usually, I'm okay if it makes sense. Like if I'm talking about something and you want to do a recall knowledge and you don't want to interrupt, a spiel, something like that, but you want to recall knowledge of something, I don't mind you rolling it. The secret chat will go inside there. I'll see it, and then just give me a reminder that you rolled it, and I'll look at it then. Sometimes you guys are somewhat familiar with Pathfinder, and if you're not, asking questions will be helpful so that we can get through it. So if there's a moment where like a roll is coming up and you want to you're going ahead and rolling it, I appreciate that. It helps speed up the game. Let me see here. I mean, the way Pathfinder works, most of the time, if you're so this is a dice rolling against each other. They don't really do contested roles in Pathfinder. Everything's based off of your defense is your DC, and if you're trying to do something to somebody else, you're the one rolling. So offense rolls, defense has their DCs. If there's ever a moment where you guys are like, trying to figure out where you're going to be doing something, yes, we might end up having contested roles if you both are trying to do something and see maybe who gets it better. But in most cases, if there's anything like that, it's going to be mostly DC versus DC, roll versus DCs. Whoever's the offense rolls against the defender's DC, which kind of leads to player versus player. So speaking about a Magic campaign, there's a lot of Magic that can control people. So, which could lead to some PvP. And there's also a whole dueling mechanics in terms of, you guys are at Magic School, there might be duels. So this could be a thing, but most of the time, for the most case, I'll let you know right now, most of the PvP if there's ever PvP in this campaign, it's going to be non-threatening. But that doesn't stop. It doesn't mean somebody can get dominated, and that might happen. Let me see if anybody had any questions about that one. Nope. All right. PC secrets. So some of you have messaged me about stuff in your backstory. Sure. I'm perfectly fine with that. There might be times where a NPC might come and tell you a secret. If you don't want to tell the rest of the PCs that's okay too. I usually leave that up to the player. But for the most part, anything that secrets that are going to be said, I'll ask if you want to go to secret chat for it. For the most part, I usually will just say it out loud, and then you guys can role play, whether you're holding it as a secret or not. But the players might probably know, and so with streaming, the audience will. So there's that. Player expectations, types, goals, and diversity. Okay, so this campaign is very lighthearted, and we're kind of going to get into this when it comes to the pacing of the campaign, and I'll kind of come back to this when we start talking about pacing, because the way this game is set up is that there's a lot of time, and the way the book says it is that it's really up to each group how much, if they want a strict timetable of like going day by day, or if they want to go week by week, or they might make it even more loose where you might do a couple checks and that's a couple months pass, maybe a year passed. So that's kind of going to be something that I'm going to talk about once we finish going through this list, but that's going to greatly affect the expectations in terms of like, okay, what goals do your characters have, and whether they can do them, and are we going to hand wave you guys just doing them or not, or how much role playing do you want, and how much do you want to move over to the next adventure? So that's something we'll talk about. Player discomfort. Oh yeah, so this is going to be some of the topics that are brought up in this campaign. For the most part, some of the heavier topics here is cannibalism. That's one thing that might come up.
Good thing David's
here. Slavery. That's one thing that might show up. Usually by bad guys. Innocents being harmed. I mean, that's bad guys are going to do that. This is something that I remember being mentioned before. Some people say if there's ever a time where an enemy surrenders, whether the party is okay with still taking them out, even though they surrendered and given up. That could be a topic where a lot of, like I mentioned this before, is that the Magambia does not like killing, and so there may be a lot of times where enemies will surrender or try and run away, and so that might be something you guys may want to think about and message me either privately or something like that.
Professor, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If the Magambia hates killing so much, have they made it possible for non-wizards to take the non-lethal spellcaster feat?
Yes, that is an allowed feat.
For anybody,
non-
for
the non-
anybody that's a spellcaster, you don't have to be a wizard to get it.
No, you don't have to be a wizard to get it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to get the feat to do non-lethal damage with
Non-lethal fireballs.
Yep.
Nice.
You can.
Can you non-lethal ranged attacks or just melee by default?
Melee by default, unless you get a feat that lets you do it.
Interesting. And you have to get a feat to non-lethal your fists, right?
Unless you're a monk.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Or take the -2.
Or take the. I mean, well, you can always do non-lethal damage. You just take a -2.
Oh, okay.
But
Except for spells and range attacks.
Pathfinder 2e, it's like Pokemon, which Leo's never played before. But basically, if you do 99% lethal damage, as long as the last point of damage
perfect.
dealt is
Yes.
non-lethal, it's all
Mhm.
good.
There we go.
Yeah, as long as what takes them down to 0 is non-lethal damage, you're good. You're good to go.
All right.
So yes, even if you don't want to take that feat, that non-lethal magic feat, as long as you run up and bonk them on the head for the last bit of damage, when they're on their last legs, and you're good.
I've
All right.
3 or 4 times, but I get the
Mhm.
sentiment.
Yeah. All right. Player agency. There might be times where you could get dominated, and I'm more than happy with you guys role playing your character and doing in that moments where you're dominated. We'll see how you guys do. I trust you. Most of you guys are really good role players, and I've played with all of you at least once. So I trust you guys enough to do what you got to do there. Who knows? You may get a hero point for being true to your character while they're dominated. All right. Game balance and fairness. I'm a pretty rules is written type of GM, and Pathfinder's pretty balanced. I think very balanced. I think. So I'm going to try and run this campaign pretty rules is written. One thing that doesn't mean that you can't be creative. And the way I usually deal with creativity is that I end up making adjustments to the DCs rather than giving bonuses. Bonuses are on your guys' plate. If you guys want a bonus, make sure you have the feat for it or something like that. But if you have a creative idea, most likely I would probably make adjustments to the DCs. That idea could also make it harder too. Those are some of the things that I might end up doing. And usually I'll let you know if your idea is making the DC lower or higher.
Nice.
Right. Rules debates. Pathfinder's really good at rules. So most of the time you just look them up.
Oh,
But if there is a ruling,
I have a question. Going back to game balance and fairness.
Yeah.
A relatively gray area that falls more firmly under the 5e GM knows best is recall knowledge. How will you be handling recall knowledge
So,
in this campaign?
yes.
We're all playing nerds, so we're gonna
Yes.
roll in
So,
all kinds of checks.
I was going to talk about this too, but this is a good place to talk about it. You guys will hit the recall knowledge button, and I will look at all your options that you have for recall knowledge and take whichever one is applicable in the situation you're recalling knowledge. I'm not going to ask you to try and pick which one you're rolling for. And there will be some cases where I ask for a specific one, and I'm okay with you just hitting the recall knowledge button, and I'll see that. Now, in terms of multiple recall knowledges on the same target, the difficulty will only go up on successes. So if you succeed, the next time you do it, it's going to be harder. If you fail, it's always going to be considered the first attempt. If that answers your question.
It does.
Yep. Oh my goodness, a lot of lore. Yeah. So, but yeah. So, and the recall knowledge thing is really good. That I really like the whole button there. So, you guys are gonna be doing this a lot, and you're gonna be doing even more because when I talk to you how I'm doing spells. how we're doing spells here. So I guess we can kind of talk about this now too, since it's under this area. So actually, no, we'll talk about when we get to meta knowledge. All right, so rules debates. Yeah, we went through that one. Spotlight sharing. I
have a question about.
Mhm.
Sorry, about rules
No,
debates.
go for it. Yeah.
Our community has attracted some very powerful Pathfinder kids. Like
Mhm.
some of the most powerful Pathfinder kids in the world, you might say.
Mhm.
If say we're streaming the games and
Mhm.
in chat, the Pathfinder kids are like, no, that Crash is definitely dead. But you've already said no, Crash is alive. Do I die because the chat
It depends on the
says I die?
situation.
Damn. So Red, maybe we shouldn't stream the game. You think?
Yeah, the gods are looking
Might save
in,
you. It might save you.
influencing everything.
I haven't been.
I didn't sleep so
Privy to
good. I
this,
didn't sleep
really.
so good last night because Scottrick, who's quickly becoming one of my favorite players and my favorite vampire GM, he died last night. His character did, not Scottrick. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like chat killed him. Like, if I'm being honest.
Whoa.
So like, and they weren't wrong. They weren't wrong. But we had to mount like a 2.5 hour long investigation today, into this edge case rule to see if he actually was killed by chat or not. And like,
Was this Henry?
Yeah. It's just Henry.
Henry.
Oh,
Henry.
okay. Well, they were trying to. I was watching when you guys. Well, hold on. I don't know. Is anyone else in other game?
Spoilers.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
So it's kind of funny too. Speaking about that, and then we'll move on.
Or was trying to
It's
kill
funny-
him. Is what I meant to say.
it's funny too because as soon as we had this debate, apparently rules lawyer went out and put a video about hero points and he mentioned the death and dying thing. He's like, at my table we count gain is the same thing as increase, even though it's that's not the
So
how it's written.
he's come out as a baby. I see.
Yeah, he said, but he did say that he does like the fact changing hero points to not have the recovery thing at all.
Oh,
and,
all right, never
making-
mind.
and
He's
making
come
them-
out as
making
being
them
a
stronger.
hard-ass. All right,
Yes.
nice.
All right. So but okay. So that's rules debates. But yeah, when a rules thing comes up, we're gonna take the time to look it up. We have, this is gonna be my first time GMing a full Pathfinder campaign. So stuff is gonna come up and I'm not gonna know. And we're gonna have to take a moment to look it up. And if we have some very powerful Pathfinder kids, Pathfinder
Enthusiast.
enthusiasts
I've heard that's a
in-
better
in-
thing to call them is Pathfinder.
Yeah, Pathfinder enthusiast on the server, and I'm gonna be very I'm very glad for their insight on stuff. But at the end of the day, if there is a point where I need to make a ruling,
Mhm.
I'm gonna make a ruling, and we can make adjustments afterwards too.
Okay.
But I will leverage the expertise that we have on the server for sure.
Diplomatically. Well done.
Yeah. Spotlight sharing. All right, so there's gonna be a lot of role playing in this campaign, and a lot of people here a lot of you guys have a lot of charisma, both personally and in character. So I'm gonna do my best to get all of you guys to have moments, check in and make sure, and I hope that you guys will also do the same. Like, if you guys know another character has the skill or the ability or the background about something, go ahead and initiate and have them jump in and ask them, hey, can you take care of this? Because we know you're able to do this. Which playing with all you guys are all really good at doing this. So I'm not too much worried, but I make sure it's out on the table that I'm going to do my best to try and get you guys to do it. But I also want you guys to help out as well. All right, meta knowledge. Okay, so we're all learning Pathfinder, and so there's gonna be some monsters I don't even know anything about, and there's gonna be some monsters I'm pretty sure none of you guys are gonna be knowing about. But there might be some that you're familiar with. I already know that there's some monsters in Alcastar that are gonna show up in this. But yeah. In terms of that, you guys are all smart, all very smart characters. So that recall knowledge is going to be very important. And one of the whole themes of this adventure is building off the strengths of the people that came before, the thousands that came before. And so a lot of times you're going to have opportunities to learn about encounters before them, maybe do some research, go ask people about things, and then enter into these encounters, with the knowledge in hand. So, leverage that. In terms of meta knowledge, though, because this is a spellcasting campaign, I'm doing something, and Pathfinder has like the built-in tools to do this. Whenever I roll a spell, it is going to be hidden, and it's just going to let you know the traits of the spell, and it's going to ask if you want to use a reaction to recognize spell if you have that feat, or on your turn do a recall knowledge to figure out what that spell is. Now, if you know the spell, it would just automatically reveal it for everybody because someone on the team knows it. And so I'll show you an example now. So you see this.
Diversifying our portfolio is
very good.
Okay.
Yep.
Gives
And
the caster something to do too as a reaction. Just neat.
Yeah, yes.
I
They
like
can
the
spend their
recall
hero
knowledge.
points on that.
Can I just cast shield and get +5 to my AC for an entire turn?
No.
Alas,
That's
we're not
what-
playing that system.
Wait, can I just use my reaction to make it so that you're never allowed to cast any spells down?
I mean, if you wanna invest 4 feats
Yeah, right.
into it, yeah.
If I want my entire identity to be preventing you from casting spells, I guess I could do that.
Yeah. You
And,
could,
and even
yeah.
then, I still have to make the rolls. So
Mhm.
yeah, cool,
Mhm.
cool. All right, keep going.
So here's
Wow, what an
here's the-
in-game way to shame counterspellers? What?
I like
yeah.
So-
I'm getting more
recognize
sold
spell,
every
like,
time.
So
like
here's
recognize
an
spell, You
example.
like shout out what spell it is, and then he doesn't really do much. It's like watch
Mhm.
out.
Fireball. Oh no.
So here's an example. I'm gonna go ahead and cast the spell. I don't think anybody has the spell, but we'll cast it.
They just cast a spell of the
Whoa.
primal tradition. With these traits,
Oh.
concentrate, earth, manipulate. You can try using one of recognize spell or quick recognition to recognize it, or on your turn, spend an action to try to identify it with nature, recall knowledge, or 10 minutes. Yeah, like in the shower.
10 minutes.
In the
Yeah.
shower later.
We're gonna get hit before.
Lotus is just like, damn. What was that? Oh, that was the spell. Oh man.
Oh, hold on. Here's the save.
Oh jeez. Yeah, jeez. I like how it tells you what the traits are, so you can tell like, oh,
Yes.
they're doing something with the ground and they're fucking
Yep.
waving
Mhm.
their arms.
And it also
Okay,
lets
that's
you know if,
pretty
you,
cool.
if at that point you have at some point somebody gets reactive strike, it still lets you know if it's manipulate so that you can strike them.
Reactive strike.
Well,
Who's
is it
get
going to
that?
stop me if I click recognize spell and I don't actually have it? Oh, it just says that I can use it. It's not a shortcut to it. Okay.
Yeah. You would have to go ahead and use the and in that case you would roll the nature check
Got it.
if you had recognized spell. Now, so that's if you guys oof. All right. So that's if you guys don't know the spell. So here's an example of if somebody knows spell. So Dusty knows Scatter Scree, so he's going to cast Scatter Scree, and then it tells you known by Dusty.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, okay,
So It
okay.
reads what we know. Oh, that's so cool.
Mhm.
That's
Dusty's like,
fun.
he's doing that thing I know how to do.
Wait. Does he get a
is this
bonus
Workbench
to the
that's doing
save for
this?
knowing it?
Yes, this is Workbench that's
Ooh.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
It's
cool.
pretty spiffy.
Yep.
Nice.
Does
So,
Dusty get a bonus to the save for knowing it though? Like, just kind of curious.
No.
That's how that works. But okay.
No. Now, if he had
He gets to
recognized
know
spell,
that,
he can still. If he had recognized spell, he can still roll, even though he knows the spell, to try and get a critical success,
Oh.
Which then gives you a +1, right?
which gives you a +1 on the save,
Okay.
or the ace, or your AC when the attack if the attack is after you.
Yeah. Well, good luck, you casters.
And that's not limited to casters. Like if you can get recognized spell even if you are not a caster. It's just it's a skill feat, and it just requires you to have a magical tradition skill trained in.
Yeah, you need a reaction though. Those
Yeah,
are
but you do need to spend your
premium.
reaction on it.
It'd be good for me to get it. I don't think I have any reactions.
But yeah, I mean,
Actually, I do have
many
one.
spellcasters don't have reaction. So this is you're gonna have something you can use reaction on at least if you get that skill feat.
I got a reaction I can only use every 10 minutes to clue people in.
We don't have a fighter in the party. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough out here.
That's you. What do you mean?
Oh,
That's
right.
that's this guy right here.
That's the
That's
dog.
little,
dog?
little ear
The
dude.
I wanna
dog is
say
not
it up
the
front.
fight.
I
Yep,
literally asked
I'm
you guys,
sorry.
hey, do we need like an upfront guy? And you're like, no, it'll be
No,
fine.
it's good.
Dude,
It's
come
fine.
on, look, there he is.
Yeah, there.
That's our
Oh,
strongest
and then
soldier.
you're like the dog, and I'm like, I guess I don't know Pathfire well enough. Yeah, the dog.
We're
Your guys'
we're
turn is gonna
we're
be
just
cast
going to
spell and
college,
run.
Yeah, we don't,
Yeah, exactly. Why would we need to worry about that sort of
yeah,
thing?
we don't need the mechanically strongest class in the game to succeed, guys. I mean,
I'm not even bringing armor.
listen, we're the best. We're the best
Hey.
support classes in the game. So if we just support each other, that should be enough, right?
Hey,
True,
on,
true,
on,
true,
on, on Season of Ghosts, I mean, hey, we have 3 people who are supporting two a ranger and a war cleric, and they're wrecking stuff. So
Yeah, that support. The support of that game is crazy. It's wild.
There is some good support there.
all right, so that's what we're doing about magic in terms of meta knowledge about spells. So yeah, you won't know what spell's coming along, and then you're gonna have to try and figure it out. So that means recognized spells could be useful. I mean, also if they're casting a spell,
Ooh.
you,
There's also
this also means that
there's
you
also
won't
feats that work
know.
the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like cast funky magic and stuff like that, where like
Yes.
yeah, you're harder to.
And I'm gonna be playing the NPCs the same way, where you guys cast your spell, they're not gonna know what it is unless they have the spell themselves.
Nice.
So is this going to be equitable?
Because my
you know.
build actually took into account that you would be using this system, so like at
Mhm.
some point I do have funky magic feat or whatever, where like your magic is so unorthodox that other people have trouble figuring out what the hell you're doing.
Yep. So another thing too, speaking about casting spells and metagaming, the subtle trait on spells. So the way I'm planning to rule on the ruling of subtle spell is that all spell casting at general is obvious. Like there's nothing you can do about it. If you're casting a spell, someone knows you're casting a spell. If it has the subtle trait, it's just not obvious. So in normal circumstances, you can cast a spell and no one would know the difference. Even if it has the manipulate trait or whatever, it's not obvious anymore. So no one could tell if you have the subtle trait, no one can tell if you're casting a spell. Now in tense situations where like you're at a diplomatic meeting, and they know everybody there's spellcasters, everybody knows that charm person is a spell. That's a thing. It has a subtle trait. People are going to be looking out for it. So even though it's not obvious, someone's going to have to roll against your either deception DC to see if they can tell if you're casting a spell. But under most normal circumstances, subtle will be it's not obvious. They won't tell unless they have to actively try and do something. And sometimes you might be able to get it off. They may not know until after the spell's already been off, and then they have to figure out, okay, wait a second, what were they doing? And then they'll roll. But for the most part, that subtle trait means that if you don't have the subtle trait, it is 100% obvious. You can't do anything about it. People are going to know you're casting a spell. If you have the subtle trait, under most circumstances, they're not going to have any idea you're casting a spell. In 10 situations, I will have them roll. And this will work both ways too. If we're in a tense situation and they're doing something, I will have you guys roll as well. Especially if someone says they're looking out for it. All right. I think there's any other spell things that I have on my list here. I think that was it. Does anybody else have any questions about spellcasting and meta knowledge and stuff like that? All right. Min-maxing, you guys do what if you guys are going to try and I'm just going to skip this question. Skip this one.
I mean,
What us min-maxers? Look at
listen,
us.
Listen, it's Pathfinder 2e. If you guys aren't min-maxing
We're all dead. That's what I've
Well,
gathered.
I'm not. Well, I'm not. I'm not min max.
That's what I've gathered. I don't know. Watching James, I took two. I took 2 reactions to keep myself alive at level 1.
Okay, the system requires a certain amount of min maxing. Like you have to have striking runes by a certain level. You have to have you have to respect the fact that your class is a primary stat, and it's not funny or cool to dump that primary stat in this system. Like I'm a rogue with an 8 dexterity, and dexterity is my primary stat. Like that's not gonna work in Pathfinder 2e the same way it might work in 5e, where everyone has hit the word and we could just keep yo-yoing you back to life every time you go down. Yeah, like this system takes itself a little bit more seriously as far as that goes.
But I will say it is a lot harder to make yourself, useless. Because a lot of that stuff is just built into your class, and you don't have a choice in terms of getting stronger in those cases. But yes, there's stuff that you're gonna have to make decisions on that are important, and you want to make sure the decisions work well with the way your class is set up. But a lot of this, like, you're never gonna gimp yourself by making a choice.
And if you do,
it may
you
not,
need to retrain
and if you do, you can,
easily.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you guys are gonna have a lot of downtime. So,
And our characters are gonna have lots of extra stuff.
yes, and you guys are gonna have a lot of extra stuff to compensate for stuff.
These are not normal Pathfinder characters.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have. You guys are gonna have a lot of extra stuff.
Magically.
Yeah. So there's that. And also, not only do you have opportunities to retrain, in character, we do have the respecs at 5, 10, and 15. Which this is something I may ask too, is like maybe it'll probably be better to do these more in between books rather than at those levels. We'll see. Because we'll see.
So
But
what's the limit on that full respec? Is that like you can come back as like a
the only thing you can't
Masu,
change.
or-
Yeah, the only thing you can't change is your ancestry and heritage.
Well, actually,
Oh man.
there's consumable items in the game that you can purchase to get gender swap and heritage swaps.
Amazing.
If you find those items there, but for the full respect, I want. If they're, I'm pretty sure those are either uncommon or rare, and maybe they don't show up in
Yeah,
this game.
I'm like saying
But-
you could buy
yeah,
them
yeah.
at higher levels from cities and stuff like that. You can
Yeah.
actually buy a thing that would change your heritage or whatever.
Either way, though, for the full respecs, I want you guys to at least stay the same.
Character, right? Like,
The same character. Yes.
yeah.
But full class, and one thing you would not. I don't think it's going to be able to change, and I'll see. We'll probably see it. Maybe the first 2 I'll allow this, but the last one I won't. Is changing your branch, whichever branch you pick. Once we're that far in, I don't think I want to have you guys change. You can adjust the choices you made in your branch, but I'm not gonna ask you guys to change the branch because there's a lot of stuff that's dealing with in the story that's going to be tied to the whatever branch you guys are part of. Probably at the 15, I won't let you guys change branches. I might let you guys change at the 10, at the 5 and 10,
Yeah,
but at the 15, probably not.
yeah, but dropping your branch at 15, that'd be like swapping gods at high level in some other game.
And that's been going so
Alright.
well. I just want to
Mhm.
just add.
All right. Character party fit. We kind of went through this with me, kind of asking you guys those questions and working with you guys on your characters and stuff like that. Right now, all the characters you guys have made so far all seem to fit really well. And then we also did the whole sort of connecting everybody's backstory slightly with everybody. So I'm not worried about character party fit in terms of your characters getting along and being, working together. We kind of baked that in from the get-go. Now, murder hobos. Okay, like I said, the Mugambi doesn't like killing. So murder hobos will get expelled, and then you have to make a new character if you get expelled.
Damn.
So
And they
So
get
I-
murdered off screen.
Wait,
So I know,
Yeah. So
I
there's-
know we're really in depth about talking about murder hobos. I just very briefly want to just let everyone know we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fan posts given to us just now by Digit Pockets, and I just want to say thank you, Digit Pockets. I really appreciate
oh,
all
man.
right,
They're the
I need-
goat.
it.
I'll make you guys a fanspo. I'll use the camera.
Hell yeah.
We'll use
Wow.
camera as the fanspo.
What should we call our fanspiration?
Mm,
Scholastic inspiration. No,
the thousands.
Scholastic inspiration.
Scholastic inspiration is pretty funny. I like
Oh
that.
gosh, what do they? I wonder if I could make a thing on the overlay that would update based on the amount.
Restart France. I don't know. Something.
Research points.
Mm,
I don't know.
oof. All right,
Call
I'll
it the
make this an
thousands, and then
NPC.
whenever you use one, it's
Oh,
using the strength of
thousands.
thousands. Yeah.
I guess I could put it as an item on your stash. And we'll
Yeah,
put a
that'd be,
treasure.
oh, that way everyone knows what we're at.
Aw,
Yeah.
we're not gonna have a
Yeah.
big chunky D20 that's bleeding all over the place as we take the points out of it. Oh.
That's a Crash Gem special.
Okay.
Crush brand. Yeah.
All right. Fine.
Yeah, but anyway, no murder hobos. Gotcha. I would never play a murder hobo character. I would never do such a
Professor, I have a question. What if
Mhm.
you feel confident that you could prove to a panel of school staff and your peers that the murders you committed were necessary for the
For the
protection of
greater
the
good.
school?
Well, then you just
So okay, I'll and this will come up
Captain
during this will come up during the
Sometimes-
first session.
Sometimes-
We have a
no.
lot of Law and
Yeah.
Order episode on
Yeah,
our hands.
I'm
We'll
being
have
I'm
a
being
Law
a
and Order
little I'm
session.
being a little yeah I'm being a little like too vague. I'll be a little bit more specific. So Magambian understands that killing's gonna happen. This is Galeria where beings are gonna die. You guys are gonna fight stuff. You guys are gonna kill stuff.
Mhm.
What they don't like is unnecessary. So
Okay,
like
okay.
if you guys are being attacked by like a demon, and a demon needs to you guys need to defeat that demon and kill it. Yeah, go ahead, do it. But if you're running into like a bandit,
Mhm.
there's no reason you don't have to kill the bandit. You could have let them run away or capture them and then have the authorities take care of them.
Okay. Professor, I have another question.
Yep.
Will they be providing new students with a brochure that maybe highlights what species
yes, so-
are allowed to be murdered?
So there will be a what you call it whenever something there's something that comes up and like there's a moment where you're going to have to choose between doing something like that. You'll know if it's okay if the Magambi will be okay with you killing or not killing in that situation. They will let you know. You would know ahead of
Just know
time.
in our hearts, or can we say
You'll know in your
I'd like
hearts.
to check the brochure?
You'll know in your hearts.
I don't know about that.
You will.
Oh, it's like the
school
Marauders map where it changes the brochure magically. It's morally okay.
Well,
to-
like meta, could we say like having thoroughly
No,
studied,
now
having thoroughly studied the murder brochure, do we feel
So-
that these people are murderable? Like, is that something we could?
So in the like full meta right here, taking it off the table. Most of the time, the person who's giving you the quest will let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you're in a situation where no one's going to be able to find out,
Mhm.
I mean, no one's going to be able to find out. But
Mhm.
there are going to be times where you're going to be assigned to do something,
Okay.
and they're going to ask, okay, how did things come out?
So
And if you
we just can't murder on the job. Like if we're on summer break, we could murder.
and if people sees that you guys are representing the Magambia, so if you've gone out killing a bunch of people are going to say, wait, that's a student from the Magambia. You guys are very obvious whether you're a student from the Magambia, so they'll know.
So on summer break, not wearing school uniform, murder's okay.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no way of affiliating you
Mhm.
to the Magambia, and there's no way for the Magambia to find out if it there's nothing they can do.
Okay, I'm not asking for
Get a
my
disguise
character,
kit.
Obviously, I'm not asking. Well, I already
Yeah.
have. I already have one.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for my character. I just ask, in
Yeah.
case it happens.
Yeah, I understand, and it's a valid thing. Like Um, um, the thing is that you guys are representing a major organization,
Mhm.
and that major organization has a reputation, and they have a central goal for the region. And if you guys are doing something that's against that goal, against their message, they're gonna remove you from the organization.
That's great, because honestly, as a player, I don't like murder hoboing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's plenty of video games for murder hobo.
Yeah. All right. DM style. I think pretty much all of you have played with me as a GM before. So you guys signed up here because I guess my style is pretty good, or you like it, or you just want to do this, play this AP. But I'm pretty laid back. I don't do a lot of voices, hardly any voices or anything like that. But we're here to have a good time, and I'm going to try and make sure you guys have a good time while we're doing here. I really like boss battles. I really like cool fights. So there may be some things that I might adjust based in this campaign, to make them a little bit more interesting. And I've already gone through and updated the encounters to make them be the same difficulty for 5 characters instead of 4.
Oh man,
So-
you really didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
That's very rough.
Yeah, you really didn't need to do that. It's
But-
kind of
yeah.
screwed
But
up.
did you adjust for 5 people with free archetyping? Because I mean, that's a whole.
Whoa.
That's
Yes.
built into
Yes, I
the
did.
game.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Did you adjust for
Um,
Darby being really good at Pathfinder?
Whoa.
No.
Okay, good. All right.
We have an
So,
expert.
We at least have one.
Did
I
you
feel like a
adjust
lot
for
of
me
pressure
never
just
having
came
played
on, like,
Pathfinder?
No,
I did.
if anyone dies,
Okay,
it's because
excellent.
they went through you, Darby.
That's what I'm hearing.
Alrighty. Player absences. If 2 people are missing, I probably will cancel.
Mm. I'm noticing
um,
with Pathfinder, it's harder when there's 2 people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably with 2 people missing, I probably will cancel. If one person is missing and another person is late, we'll probably still run. But it also depends on where we're at in the campaign and how should everybody be there for this thing. There's that. Speaking about cancellations and absences and stuff like that. I finally got a PayPal business account, so that means I'll be able to do
Hooray!
Gosh, he's all
what
grown
do you call it?
up.
Subscription.
He's all grown up. Now.
Subscriptions, so you guys don't have to worry about remembering. And I'm going to ask you guys to sign up for it after the first session, so that the charge happens either on a Wednesday, so that if it does cancel, I can cancel it before I can pause it before you guys get charged.
That was the really good advice you gave me that I haven't bothered to follow.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
there's that.
Next campaign, I swear. Next
Yeah.
campaign.
All right. Players' narrative authority. Yes, you guys will have some narrative authority. I've already contacted you about some NPCs you might know. That relationship between you and that NPC, you let me know how it is. There might be times where, based off of your guys' backstory and stuff like that, maybe you know somebody, and if you want to invent an NPC in that moment, maybe you do. We'll see. So those are some of the things that I'm completely okay with, and will encourage. So there's that. Let me see here. Pet peeves. Okay. We can go around. I would want to kind of go around table around here, see if anybody has any pet peeves they want to voice, so that we can avoid them. And I'll start. One of my biggest pet peeves in tabletop games, and I don't think it's going to be an issue here because playing with you guys, I don't think I've ever happened. But it's treating the other NPCs that are like a unique or rare race or ancestry as like a pet or like an animal person or something like that. Those are like, I never knew this was a pet peeve until I started watching more strangely enough, watching more Pathfinder games on YouTube. And a lot of times where like, they meet I don't know, one of those small rhino people. and they're like, "Oh yeah, look, it's a rhino person," and then they're like, "It's they're just projecting rhino stuff onto them as like a pet, even though they're an actual NPC, and they're doing it in character. So that's one of the things that that's one of my pet peeves about that, which I don't think anybody here is going to do it, but I just wanted to voice that as an example. So there's that. If anybody has any other pet peeves in terms of tabletop RPGs, things like that they want to voice, there's an opportunity. If anything, you can always message me separately too.
How much time do we have?
Well, we
boy.
could go down a list real quick if you guys want to.
You can go last.
Yeah,
up
yeah.
the
Let me go last. Let me go last. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe there won't be any left when it's my turn.
Pull up the Word doc next to the bucket list.
Yeah, I guess I could start since we've already done it once for Soggy.
Yeah.
Very similar. How to word this? Taking forever to make decisions. I have low patience sometimes, and so just yell at me if I feel like I'm rushing anybody. So that's all.
Thank God. Somebody who wants to move quick will let you be the decision. You'll be the deciding voter.
So Darby, if you were in my Mythic group, would we have finished 2 years ago? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, man. Your
Yeah.
Mythic group, I stopped after I like 25 sessions in. I was like, that's enough for me.
Dang.
I know enough.
Okay.
I don't know what you guys have been doing for the last 2.5 years.
Wow. Everything.
For a while there,
Literally
was a hype.
everything.
They've been
There's a lot
playing.
of sand.
Hey, we took a whole session in front of a door figuring out how we're going to open it, trying to figure out what, make a decision.
That
And,
poor old guy, you probably caught that one. That's probably in the first.
Oh, not
25
even that.
episodes.
Not even that one. It was the Minotaur door.
All right, well that was time well spent.
Mm.
Yeah.
I have no regrets.
All right.
I have no regrets.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
Anyone else
All
have
right,
any
Dark.
pet peeves?
I do. I can go next.
Okay.
When you're eating food, I know we all get really hungry. I get hungry. We
Like-
all eat.
Like the gyoza milkshake.
Yeah,
Just
whatever
bought a
that is.
Nutribullet. Is that gonna be a problem?
Just
Oh,
like
boy.
don't like eat into your microphone so we can hear your choppers going away.
Just drinking, all right.
My,
I
I
can
got a
accept
bendy straw.
drinking, but
No.
just don't.
No,
I
we
get
don't need to
really,
hear the ice from your water bottle.
I get really distracted by noises in the background very easily, and those are one of the noises that gets me. Including baby crying.
oh,
I can accept cat crying though. I love cats, so.
baby crying the worst. Human baby crying the worst.
Mhm.
No, gyoza
Uh,
milkshake the worst. Crash eating corn on the cob directly into his mic second worst. Baby third worst.
Yeah, that's it though. It's just don't you can eat though. I don't want to say anyone no eating at the table, but just don't eat into your microphone. That's all.
Okay.
All right.
You could do it as like a bit though, you know what I mean? Like a joke. Because I do it sometimes as like, oh, I'm over here eating jerky. Sorry, give me 1 second. That kind of stuff. I think that's kind of funny, but
Oh,
you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I'll take your word
Alright.
for it.
Anybody have anything else? And if you want, you can always DM me separately too.
Okay. Anybody? Anybody?
I can't think of anything off the top. of my head.
Really?
That's-
You
it's
can't
been-
think of anything? Oh, it's been a while since you played, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
If it comes
We'll
out,
check
I'll
back
let
in
you
in 2
know.
sessions.
Yeah. Like, oh, yep, I remember now.
Oh, all right. Any-
Well,
anyone else?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think on it.
Okay.
yeah. I
Give me
mean,
a couple
if anything comes up, you can always just message me or put it in the group in the chat.
All right, I got some, and I'm not innocent of any of these things. If you're having mic issues, fix your fucking mics. Like, please. Like, no one want just like baby crying and yippy dog and gyoza milkshake. Like constant crackle because you refuse to check the wire on your wired mic, or like you sound like a robot constantly. Or any of these other things, like it gets real old. I am guilty of this. Sometimes the fields where I grow my spoons are fallow, and I just don't have the energy to troubleshoot it. That doesn't make it right. Like if you're putting your bad sound on everyone else, this is all we have. We don't play with webcams or anything else like that. Like your sound is your biggest responsibility for playing an online game. So like if you're too low and everyone keeps telling you you're too low, you got to figure out how to boost your volume so that we can hear you. You know what I mean? Like if you're crackling all the time, you got to get rid of the crackle. Like if you have a really loud mechanical keyboard, you got to figure out how to not pick up that loud mechanical keyboard. Like this is just the biggest and most basic common courtesy of interacting with other human beings online. You have to be responsible for your sound. That's my biggest pet peeve.
Okay.
My second one is I'm not here to play Worlds of Warcraft with you, and I'm not here to play a video game with you. I'm here to enjoy a collaborative storytelling experience. So the thing that I hate the most in tabletop RPGs is when you show up like we're in fucking Westworld and you know everyone's a robot. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, these are all made up thought constructs, but like when you act like that, it takes everybody out of it like real fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want the people I play with to be a part of the story and be a part of the game. I'm not here to see you drop the biggest dick damage in the world because you have like the elitist build that you built, you know, over like 3 weeks with friends on Reddit. Like, I'm not here for that, right? Like, literally, this story is like Magic School in Magic Africa. It's like, this is the wrong campaign to come in and just be like, I'm here to like get them big fat crits and like show you how cool and strong my build is. So like that for me is like a huge pet peeve. Like
that's similar to what mine was, where like you know, you find an NPC and they become not an NPC, they become a thought construct
Caricature.
pet. Yeah, caricature
exactly.
pet.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that. That's the part that's the one that's my biggest pet peeve too, is when, and I don't think this is ever going to come up with anybody here, and that's one of the reasons why I'm really happy with this group too, because I playing with all of you guys. None of you guys are going to do this. I'm not worried about none of this is going to be on you guys, but it's just that. So yeah, go ahead if you have any more.
All right. So my last one is some of these classes and their builds can get very complicated very fast. And like Dom is running the whole world. You're running one character. Now, admittedly, this one character is going to feel like 2.5 characters the way Dom has this set up. But like, if you have to make note cards for yourself, if you've got to make like flow charts for yourself, if you've got to give yourself like an AI script that you follow because you're so burnt out after working all day Tuesday that you can't remember the best combo of spells to use in a fight or whatever, do it. Like, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Like, these characters can be very complicated, these builds can be very complicated, and it's honestly gonna show if you're not keeping up with how to run your character, and it's going to slow everything down for everybody. And I don't want to be like this elitist that's like, hey, we're like here to play and you got to do a great job, but like you should definitely be invested in like knowing your character and like knowing how the character plays. And that's just a personal pet peeve. I'm not saying anyone here is ever guilty of that, but I'm saying that if we're talking about pet peeves in session 0, that's definitely one of mine.
Yeah, so. And on that too, if you need help with like figuring out your character, because we know we're all pretty new here, we're all willing to help too, to get you up to speed on that. And you know the I think, and part of that pet peeve, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Crash. The thing is that if it's a consistent thing where there is no improvement after a certain amount of time, That's the part
absolutely.
that I think,
And I again,
Yeah.
I prefaced all this by saying I'm not I'm not innocent of any of these things. Like I've done all of
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things. You know what I mean? I've had bad
Yeah.
sound while taking forever to make a decision on my turn.
Yeah.
While murder or hoboing an NPC I didn't think was very important. Like I'm guilty of all these things, but those are definitely
Yeah.
those are the three big ones for
Mhm.
me. Yeah, a technical one, a player one, and a role playing one.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Great.
Hmm.
Awesome. Alrighty. All right. Next thing is the ethical concerns topics. Okay. So again, the things that are in this campaign, slavery will probably be in here. There is some prejudice, but not racism. There's pretty much no racism in this campaign. But there is prejudice, and that will come up as a thing that happens in here. Rape or sexual assault does not exist in this universe. Let me see here. Traction. Okay, so yeah, you guys are college students, pretty much college students inside of a magic college school. You guys are going to spend a lot of time together, meet a lot of NPCs, spend years together with each other. Of course, there's going to be relationships that might show up. Who knows? You might end up finding an NPC and maybe you guys get married. I don't, stuff like that could happen. So I'm completely fine with relationships and stuff like happening with NPCs. In terms of whether they happen between players, that is something that needs to be agreed upon by both players before it even starts. In terms of these NPCs are their own thought constructs, but they're also their own people. They have their own beliefs and agendas and wants and needs, and I'm not necessarily going to deviate from that just for a player. They're going to be kind of their own people. But who knows? That we'll see what happens. But yeah, in terms of like the level of this, I'm definitely a fade to black type of GM, and so we're going to leave it there. If anything happens, it'll be a fade to black. But I'll let you know right now, there are some places on the campus that are noted as good date spots. So who knows? We'll see.
Aw.
Yep.
Yeah, can we have a war on that? Like date spots.
If you have Magambia lore, you'll know.
Oh boy, I do.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let me see here. Character creation. We kind of went through this already. I don't know if we've gone through that most time. Ancestry and class choices. We did that already. Game style, campaign length. Okay. This, I think, like most APs that I've noticed in Pathfinder, there's a bit of railroading in this campaign, but it's not in a bad way. You guys are going to be able to make choices. You guys are going to have your player agency, and choices are going to be made. But you are working for an organization, and an organization has agendas, and those organizations are going to give you tasks to do those things. So just like being in college, yes, you have some degree of freedom, but you are also still taking a course. And in this case, this organization is going to have you take care of tasks. They're going to have you do stuff that you may not even want to. Maybe your character doesn't want to do, but maybe you probably still do them because you're part of this organization. And you can voice that to the people that are here, and maybe they can make adjustments. But there's a bit of that. And in terms of campaign length and type, I'm going to kind of jump back to talking about pacing. So this is kind of one of the main things I wanted to talk about. The campaign takes place over undetermined amount of years, and the first couple books, you might a year or two might pass, so whether we do that in week by week or month by month or semester by semester, there's that. One thing I'm thinking of when I kind of look, they don't really give you too many. The book doesn't give you too many direction on how to do the pacing because they just say it really depends on the group. Looking online, some groups, are very strict with their timetable. They're doing everything week by week, everything or 2 weeks by 2 weeks. They've, some people have kind of redid the academy system to be a little bit more crunchy because that's what they wanted. Other people have made it a little bit more hand wavy because it's just about they have those role play moments interspersed between adventures, and then all that time that happens in between, it's time that has passed. Not necessarily this is how much time has passed. It's just time has passed. You guys have this much stuff has happened, and now we're going to the next adventure. So the way I'm thinking of running this one, and since you guys haven't had a chance to play yet, you guys probably not going to have a clear idea of which one you guys want to do. And so I understand that this may change as we play through the campaign. We might switch back and forth between certain parts during certain chapters. So but the game is going to, the way I'm thinking is going to be more montage like. Whereas there will be certain moments where we're having an adventure, the adventure will happen, and then there'll be downtime while we just role play through what you guys have gotten up to during your school time. And then if there's anything, there's going to be certain events that I already have, the book has planned that will pop up, and we'll zoom in, slow down time again, have that event, and then zoom back out, and time will speed up again, and we'll start going back into montage mode.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it possible to die during downtime?
Depends on what you said you're doing during your downtime.
Oh shoot.
So yes.
The crocodiles that get you on
By
your one.
the zooming in, is that similar to how we ended up doing CP? Where we had downtime, weeks would go by, and then we zoomed in literally kind of on 3 days and had a job and then zoomed back out.
Sort of like that, but on a bigger scale. So that zoom out time might be an entire semester, 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, like in
And-
them Harry Potter books where stuff's happening and then they're and then things passed uneventfully all through August and September, and November came and went,
Yeah.
and as holiday break began, and then all of a sudden shit starts happening
Adventure.
again. Got it.
Yes.
And they found another dead
Yeah.
person in the halls.
Stroll in the bathroom.
Yeah. So, but during that downtime time, that 3 months of passing where things were uneventful, there will be some events that will zoom in for maybe a 10-minute or a 20-minute role play session of you guys hanging out with some NPCs. Because and those things are listed in the book, and I know when they're going to happen, and they'll pop up. And some of those times might be, hey, if you're friends with some classmates and a classmate's having a birthday party, we might end up zooming in for 10 minutes, 20 minutes to role play out what happens during that time. And maybe you'll learn something about the NPC, and who knows, maybe whatever that happened during that event might have to do with an adventure that happens later on.
I have a question. Do
Yep.
we have to figure out when our birthdays are?
Yes, I was gonna ask you guys to give me that
Oh man.
at the end of this. Yes.
Dang. Is there
Calendar.
are there zodiac signs in Galarian? Because I feel like
I don't know.
Lotus
Gotta
would
be.
definitely.
There's
I feel
gotta
like
be,
there
right?
would
It's
be.
Pathfinder.
There's got to be whole horoscopes.
All right, hold on.
Pathfinder.
Oh, man, this-
Galarian
oof.
zodiac signs.
Man, Lois is gonna.
Does the
I'm just thinking now.
Galarian setting have a zodiac equivalent? Galarian has several. Of course it does.
Of course, yeah.
course.
Which one do you want?
Pick your
You,
poison.
you should have known. That's a
Um,
mini game associated with it too.
All right, so the most common are the
Posted in chat.
Western Cosmic Caravan and the Eastern Dragon Empire Zodiac. So those are the two big ones. Noma Mile was into the Cosmic Caravan.
Probably be
Alright.
Western, right? Because I feel like Eastern would be Zentia.
Yeah.
Dimension.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the dragon one. Yep. So here's a link
So
to the Zodiac in case you guys were curious. The Cosmic Caravan.
all right. I know an NPC who's going to be very into this. So I'm going to have to seed this into her character.
Yeah,
Hey, we
Professor
gotta-
Trelawney, I've heard of
Yeah,
her.
you got to pick the opposite and say you don't believe in the zodiac symbols.
Oh, do I get another feat for extra healing? Because if so, I forsake my zodiac.
Yeah, I think there's a godless healing thing where you don't believe in the gods, so you do better healing.
I'm could you're more of like a vibe and crystal healing kind of guy.
They actually no, there's a feat for crystal healing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
There is. Yeah, it is. You lose occultism, I think, instead. I don't
Yeah.
know. I can
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
That's
All right. So yeah, definitely this is definitely be a thing. I definitely know an NPC who's gonna be all about this. So yeah. So yeah, think about your birthday. Let us know. The year is 4721. And I think we're gonna actually be starting in spring, so I'll probably move the time forward to spring.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I don't want my birthday to be right away because I want everyone to have enough money to get me presents. So
good thinking. Yeah.
But
You
I don't
can-
want
you
to
can
be
just
too
lie
close
about your
to
birthday.
Galarian Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Speaking about
up.
Oh, I can't wait till I have our first holiday.
Yeah, speaking about holidays, in the Mogambia, in the Mwangi Expanse, at least in Ntambu too, this city, they celebrate solstices and equinoxes, and it's usually a week. It's usually a week of celebration with feasts and reverence for Old Mage Chitembe and the 10 magical warriors, and then any venerated ancestries inside of your family. So when an equinox or solstice happens, there's a week of celebration, boat races and stuff like that. And the whole idea is that you celebrate Old Mage Chitembe and any ancestors you have that are venerated.
Oh.
Yeah, that's their major thing. They have boat races and stuff like that, and it's kind of a utopia. Like everybody works together to help each other. There's a one thing where a common custom is to always have an empty chair at your dinner table for people. For if there's somebody who's down on their luck or needs help, they can come and sit down and eat dinner with you. So that's the type of neighborhood that you're gonna be in. So like I said, it's a very lighthearted and happy campaign, but there are some pretty bad stuff that happens too. So you'll get into that. Let me keep going. Yeah, in terms of campaign length, it's a 1 to 20 campaign, 6 books. Realistically, how long this campaign is going to go is going to be really dependent on you guys and how much role playing how much time you guys spent, just role playing out that downtime period. Because that downtime period in the book might be very fast, but you guys can stretch it out by enjoying hanging out with the NPCs that are there, which is also pretty good. That's going to be that part of that pace is going to be onto you guys determining how much role play you guys want to do during downtime. All right. Let me see here.
Hey, I gotta step away for just one second. I'm super sorry. You can keep
Yeah,
going.
no problem. Yeah, no problem. All right.
You just put your birthday out there, like, okay. Right.
All right. I'll add it to the. I mean, maybe you do know if you have a relationship with that person from your backstory. Yeah, maybe you know their birthday already. But yeah, I'll add their people's birthdays to the calendar. All right. Background, feats, mounts, game style, length, character context, starting and standing. Yeah, all these are okay. Covered by the system. Backgrounds covered by the system. Feats covered by the system. Mounts covered by the system. Radiant action. Yeah, going through all this. Okay. In terms of downtime and crafting, I'll let you guys know this, and this is kind of a little bit of meta. so you guys have an idea of how this campaign is going to go. Nantambu is a level 11 settlement, and with the Magambia there, you can buy up to level 13 magic items. They're just there. You can get them if you have the money. So if you guys have the money and you want to buy something, you can. This place is just that high magic. You could just buy it. Almost anything. The settlement is very prosperous like that. So in terms of crafting, it may not be the best thing to have, to do until level 13, because you can always just buy everything there. But that doesn't mean that you're always going to be in the Bagambia or always be in Nantambu. So keep that in mind too. There may be times where you're, away from the city for months. So, kind of think about how downtime for your characters, whether you want to, spend it doing crafting or personal stuff. That's something you may want to keep in mind. Alrighty. Repeating party rules. Yeah, sure. I mean, if somebody tries something and fails, and you want to try it out, and it's something that's out in the open, and then you want to take an attempt at it, I'm perfectly fine with that. This system is kind of built around doing that, and if you're not the best at it, most likely you're not going to do it. With how as you guys get up in levels, if you're not trained in something, most likely you're not going to be able to pass. And sometimes it might be better to not roll either way and just aid instead, because you might roll and get a critical failure and make it worse. So
is the ADC still like 25 or something, or
it is okay. So yeah, talking about how I run aid, by default it's 15 per the remaster, but I will make adjustments based off of the DC of the actual task. So if a task is a DC 23 and you're trying to aid with a 15, depending on the task, I may end up just boosting that, making that DC harder. But for the most most of the time,
I thought the compromise was it was 15, and then like as they get higher in level or whatever, it kind of starts scaling with like the party average DC, right? Because like at low levels, the average DC of a task is at level 1 is 15, right? But
yeah.
And then at level 5 though, the average DC of something is a 20. So the idea, I thought the intent was they lowered it to 15 so that people at low level would feel comfortable aiding. But apparently no, it's just 15 all the time, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah. So the way it's worded is that it's 15 all the time, but the GM has the prerogative to make adjustments based off the situation, and I'm just going to make adjustments based off the situation. Okay. In most cases, it's going to be and most of the time, and this is kind of what I did in Cyberpunk as well, is that it's usually the DC of the task at hand, but with the easy modifier, so maybe 2 points. The DC might be 2 less. That's usually what I'm going to do for the most part. But if you're aiding and the way you're aiding makes perfect sense for this thing, I might just leave it at the 15. And if it gets to the point where there's no way you can fail the 15, then if you just say you aid, I'm just saying, okay, yeah, you're aiding, and you help them get to get that plus 1, or you can roll and see if you get a crit. So
okay, that is a question I do have.
Yes.
So yeah, I am trying to learn stuff. I'm watching all sorts of videos and like how to play. I'm not trying to go in blind because that would be just rude. But I'm noticing there's a lot of new things. Are you gonna have any house rules for certain things?
For the most part, no. Most things I'm going to rolling rules as written. In terms of the and a lot of the rules as written, they would have like a little caveat saying, in certain situations, the GM may make a decision, and in those cases, I am leveraging that to make some decisions. But for the most part, we're using the remaster rules, and I'm doing most stuff rules as written. The only thing that I'm doing that's house ruley, I guess, right now is the way I'm doing recall knowledge, in that the DC only increases on a success. So by normal rules is written, whenever you do a recall knowledge, every attempt after the first has a higher DC to try and learn something about the monster. I'm saying that DC only goes up higher after you succeeded once. So if you succeeded, then the next time you try and learn more stuff about this monster, it's gonna be a higher DC.
Okay.
Yep. And that's what I have right now. While we're playing through this, stuff might come up, and maybe we'll end up making some other house rules if it needs to. But for the most part, I'm trying to do things rules as written. All right. Snacks, gaining inspiration. Okay, hero points. All right, so I'm going to be doing. You guys start off with 2 hero points every session. If you do the recap, you get a 3rd one. And then we're going to have Faxpiration dice, but the Faxpiration dice is just an extra +1. It's just a +1 instead of a dice.
Oh.
You can just add a +1 to. You can add a +1 to your.
You do it retroactively.
Yes, you do. You can do it retroactively.
Nice. That makes it pretty solid.
So if you miss by 1, you can choose to.
I have a question. Are you gonna have?
Yes.
Are you gonna have sack?
That's what I was about. That was my next question.
Yeah, this is. I was going to ask you guys if you guys want to do that. We had the critical fumble cards are built into the Foundry, so if you guys want to do succeed at a cost, and for me, succeed at a cost is within 1. So if you miss by 1, you can choose to succeed at a cost. You get the.
Would you allow the stacking of sack and Faxpiration?
Yes, if you have a Faxpiration die, you can add your +1 and then sack.
Would you allow sack
guys.
to cross the critical hit threshold? I do not allow that.
Yeah, no.
If we allow sack, I think it should be more of a consequence.
I
Crit
agree.
cards are not hard enough. They
Really?
don't. No.
Sometimes they are. Sometimes
I
they
think
aren't.
if you succeed at a cost, you instantly gain a wound.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's
But
so dangerous.
sometimes wounds aren't really a big deal. Like if you're in a roleplay scene or something.
Mm.
I
I don't think I've ever
my,
used it
just
for
my
a
thought.
roleplay scene,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest.
You
I've only ever used
I
it
mean,
for combat.
we could go the vampire route, and it's kind of up to everybody to decide. What's the consequence?
What the
of-
consequence?
Yeah, what's the
what
consequence of
condition
put-
that
yeah,
should be
What's the
afflicted with?
consequence of pushing your luck essentially?
We can use the default as wounded, and then in other situations, if it doesn't apply, we can come up with something else.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this
Well,
campaign,
they have something
stupefied would be
called-
the worst.
They have
Same for
something
all the
called
casters.
they have something called misfortune, where you basically roll with
Yeah.
disadvantage. So maybe, maybe you get a wound
Misfortune's
and yeah.
Too much.
You think misfortune's too much?
Yeah.
You'd rather be wounded than have to roll once with disadvantage?
Yeah. I never said it would go away.
Oh wow.
Well, it should be a doom then in that case.
Ooh, I mean,
Doom is very scary. Listen,
Wait. We're almost there. Drained. Drained affects everything.
Mm,
You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
Drain affects fort saves and your maximum HP.
As the front line, I would prefer to take wounded over drained.
Oh, I
Coward.
thought drain did.
Coward.
I thought drain was a -1 to everything. What's the -1 to everything?
No,
is it-
sicken and fear.
Second. Yeah, drained is
Oh.
your level times
It's the-
drain
it's the-
level
Drain
minus
is
your
the
max HP.
Yeah.
drain is the enfeeble and the stupefy for Constitution.
Oh yeah, drain's really bad. Okay.
Yeah.
As someone who is very unfamiliar with the system, my vote
So-
is to not
No,
have
Doom's
this.
worse than drain.
All right. Yeah. I mean, no sack is fine too, but.
But I know you guys are all very excited, and it's been fun for a very long time. But
I would
So-
vote not to have it just
but
because I
I-
won't be able to resist not using it.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. Yeah.
Another thing too, a lot of you guys are spellcasters, and so I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to be using saving throws.
Mm.
So most of the time, if you're going to
That's-
try and stack,
that's
it's
a
going to
question I have about hero points then.
yes,
I
yes,
have
and I was
heard-
going to bring it.
yes.
I was going to bring it up. Yes, I was going to bring it up.
Okay.
The So, but in terms of sack for right now, we'll table it and say no for now.
Okay.
If at some point down the line we're like, okay, yeah, let's do it, and we figure out a good way to do it, maybe it comes back. But for right now, no sack. In terms of hero points and how to use them, many of you are spellcasters. Most people here are spellcasters. We actually have a good mix of people who are going to be doing attack rolls. Like, 3 characters are going to be doing attack rolls. 3 characters are going to be casting spells. For sure, at least most of the time. Hero points, and this kind of actually came like this video about the hero points that Ruler did today had like a big list of a bunch of different house rules that people come up with for hero points. So one of them is having hero points be able to be rolled to have a monster reroll a save. Now, kind of the universal thing is that it's very strong if we allow that, especially because there's some spells that are like can be pretty debilitating to an enemy. Slow is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It can be pretty bad. So there's that. I'm thinking, and maybe I kind of rather do hero points raw, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking maybe you could spend 2 hero points to have an enemy reroll a saving throw.
Starting with
Dangerous.
only 2, having only 3 tops, I feel like that's kind of like really depending on people donating fanspirations and then us budgeting around fanspirations. Yeah.
I mean, you can still use your single hero point to save yourself from saves. There's that. And now one of the other ones he mentioned too is that only having enemies reroll attacks. So it only affects rolls that have the attack trait onto it. So you can have an enemy reroll an attack only. So it could be a spell attack, but it has to have the attack trait. You can't have them reroll saves.
It just
so you
sounds
can
like
have them reroll
lucky
attacks.
more.
Yeah.
I get the argument. It's like in a balanced group where the spellcasters are being protected and kept in the back, the spellcasters will often make it all the way through a session and never use their hero points because they didn't have to stabilize with them, and they don't make attack rolls, so they don't really have a lot of things to use hero points on.
The thing is, though, the one thing that I'm not so worried about though in this campaign is that this is a very high magic campaign. You guys are gonna be fighting people that cast spells at you. And you're going to be making saving throws, and those saving throws you'll be using your hero points on saving from saving throws.
I think they'll be fine raw. I think that forcing enemies to reroll saves is too powerful.
And I was in the same mindset.
And my
of
build is like dependent on them failing saving throws, so I would love for that to be a thing, but I think it's too powerful. So
what about instead of like having them reroll saves, if a caster could spend a hero point to reroll their damage they rolled on something? Would that be like more equitable? Like if we threw a fireball down, you rolled all 1s on that. That sucks. Roll hero point, you can reroll the dice.
I feel like we usually describe like, oh, this and this happened because of that, not so good fireball.
Yeah.
I feel like that usually goes into the story of it.
I'm kind of leaning towards just keeping things raw with hero points. And plus, you guys have you guys are gonna have fan spells to offset some of that too, and you guys are going to be using them to survive saving throws. I know I can guarantee that.
Guys, there are some spells that are so busted, like that will get used against the players, like absolutely insane stuff. So
yeah, it'll be worse for us because we won't see
finish
the spell
playing
coming.
Odyssey.
We won't know which one to reroll the save on.
Yeah, that's true too. You guys won't know the spell that you're getting hit with either, so you don't know. You're not going to know like how bad it is going to be if you fail this thing, and I'm not going to tell you until you commit. So
it's got the instant death tag on it. Okay.
Yeah, you'll see the trait though.
Right,
If the trait has death on it, then you'll know that. But like
is that a trait?
Death is
death-
a trade.
yeah, it's a trade.
Incapacitation is a trade.
That just means, what does the tag mean? That just you're more likely to die?
It's a death
you
effect. So
die?
Yeah. If you hit 0 HP,
there's a chance that if
you instantly die.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See, if you have recognized spell, and you can be like, "Watch out, finger of death," but then you can die anyway.
Hey, but it might give you a +1 to that save if you critically succeeded, and a +1 to that save, plus that fanspo faxpiration question you added, and then the fear that they did to the enemy, might save you.
And by that point, we've already brought in succeeded a cost, so I've given it my full
Yeah, I don't think
humanity.
it's gonna be long.
But yeah, so I think for now we're gonna do. I'm gonna keep it raw for hero points. We'll keep it raw for hero points. Yeah. Gordon Ramsay's upset, but hey, we're gonna keep it raw.
Mm.
Alrighty.
Do we have a cooking class here? We run into. Okay, sorry.
Culinary
Um,
class. Go next.
Speaking about cooking, well, you guys will learn about this in session 1. So never mind, I'll save for session 1. Let me see here. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's covered by the system. I mean, do you guys want to use the critical fumble and critical success cards for
Listen,
attacks?
I love the critical fumble cards a lot, so
I'm
I would love
indifferent.
to use them. But
Yeah.
I also realize that they're not like the most popular thing.
I'm down for those, because then you don't have a choice.
I intend to use them fully, as many cards as possible in Stolen Fate, because the theme of the campaign is cards, and there's actual feats
Yeah.
that allow you to cheat your draws from those decks. They're fun here. Like I mean, I will say this: we had a session. What was it? Thursday night, Curse Strahd, where we just could not stop rolling 1s and 20s like all night. And
Yeah.
that fight was just bananas. And like it made me kind of miss like the messy craziness of our 5e games, because a lot of times, Pathfinder can feel very like procedural.
You dropped a house on me last night.
Listen, I didn't say my games could feel that way. I just said Pathfinder can feel very procedural. So like I like opportunities for weird like things to happen. But I will say some of those critical hit cards are like Nord Games level. Like
That was
yeah,
my
yeah,
question,
like-
because
like-
that's my only experience
like,
with it is Nord Games.
you're decapitated. You take 4 times critical hit damage because your intestines got blown out your asshole. Like
I think we did find one that's like you just die instantly. Like one of them is like your spell misfires and you die instantly. It was like one of the cards.
Yeah. So like,
Perfect,
I
perfect.
mean, I'm okay with it, but that's why to test them out, I had the fumbles connected to sack, and then the GM just picks like the worst / most appropriate one for the situation.
Can I make a suggestion? When I was running my AV game, I used the critical fumble cards. And what we did is when someone nat one, they would have the option to draw a card. And if they chose, yes, I want to draw this card, I would award them a hero point
Ooh.
for doing that. It worked pretty well. Players really enjoyed it. They never said no though to those cards when I
Oh,
offered
God.
them. So I do want to.
Yeah, it brings back the gambling.
So they never said no,
Mhm.
and they were fun. I felt like you had some extra hero points to to play with and everything, but we only ever
Yeah,
had
I would say that if you guys didn't have fanspo.
the fanspo. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a slight lecturing over on the Rules Lawyer Discord when I was doing my forensic investigation into the death of Henry Ironsides. Because they're like, well, are you remembering to give out hero points? I'm like, listen to me. We have no shortage of hero points in my game. So like, they're like, well, maybe you're giving out too many. I'm like, listen, the audience buys them with channel points, and they get a lot, and they're like, oh, that sounds like a pretty unbalanced game. And I didn't pursue it.
Wow.
I didn't pursue it, but I wanted to be like, you have no idea.
Well, listen, I did mention a few weeks ago.
You
raising
probably
the
left out
price.
about the Grim Reaper in the middle of that fight, also.
So
You have
So,
no
I
just don't
idea.
have to
You have no
watch it.
idea what I've brought to your world.
this is one of those.
Do we need
when
expiration inflation? Is that
That's what I was
Yeah,
adding.
raising prices?
it was, I mean, hey,
Whoa,
Mythic
whoa, whoa.
Mythic has had like 20 something at one
Whoa,
point.
whoa.
Yeah.
Hey, but I will say
Leave the
this is
economy
one thing
alone,
that
alright.
this is one thing that and I'm not saying I'm going to do this here, but one thing I did think about before was that whatever the fanspo is at the start of the session, that's what you guys have for the session, and it refills on the next session based on what people have paid either during the game or between sessions.
Ooh.
And that way you guys have a limit for the session. And it's there.
I don't know how I feel
but-
about
I
that.
mean,
but-
part of the joy
But,
of,
yeah,
of,
but-
the, of it
and-
is being able to like be like feel like you saved someone's life. Do you know
Yes,
what I mean?
and that's the thing where I'm saying I'm not going to do this, but
Yeah.
that was one of the thoughts that I had before, was maybe that, but like it is nice when like, oh no, so and so's in trouble. I'm
Yep.
throwing them. I have enough points. Throw them a point. That's part. That's part of the fun.
Three people redeem Fanspirations.
Yeah.
all economies in the world, there is an ebb and a flow. Okay,
Yeah.
like when we have extra life season, like people harvest a lot of channel points, right? And then like we had like the Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, that was like 200 hours of like gameplay, right? You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
there are times where there's gonna be more or less. I like it because I'm not here like on our server being like, this is my server and it's to build my brand and everyone has to run their their streams through my channel and this and the other thing. Like I love the idea that everyone is getting their own channel points set up and their own affiliate status, and like Lex, like he streams video games in addition to D&D
Yeah.
games, and now he's got people that watch him play his video games because he was able to build up stuff off of like the activity that we do on our channel. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
I feel like it's our community, and like the Fanspiration is now a part of the whole community. It's not just a gimmick
Yeah.
for my channel and my games. It's like it's for everybody. So I don't want to be like, we should raise the price on all this stuff. One thing we could do is look at how many points you're giving away. Not so much the they cost 10,000 channel points, but you can set up your channel points that like subscribers earn them like twice as fast or 10 times as fast, or things like that. So that might be something that we all need to sit down and look at. But I think that I don't think there's anything wrong with the system in general. It also allows a lot of wiggle room for the DMs, because like you could maybe like make an encounter a little bit harder than it's supposed to be, because that they're gonna probably be able to survive it because of channel, Fanspirations. You know what I'm saying? So
and part of that too. Speaking about people earning a lot of stuff. One of the reasons why I'm not gonna out them. I think we're gonna use Fanspos the same way that they've been used so far in almost all the other Pathfinder games played on the summer server. Whereas they're a hero point that's shared between everybody, and if you want to use them to stabilize, you have to drain them all.
No, that's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going back to hero points, do you guys want to use the hero cards, hero point cards?
I'd love
hero
to.
cards.
I think they're really fun.
I'm
Only
okay
if we can
either
use
way.
the fumbles in addition to them. We need bad to balance out. The
Okay, so I forgot. I jumped the weight. So do you guys want to do the critical hit, critical fumble cards?
Oh man.
I'm thinking
Yes,
it sounds so far sounding like a yes.
We can try them
Going
out.
Nat 20s and Nat 1s.
Yeah, if
Nat
they
20s
don't
and
work
Nat
out,
1s.
we could
Okay.
just like we
Yeah,
could
it's
just
Nat
drop 'em.
20s and Nat 1s. It's not
Okay.
if you critically hit, if you critically fail.
I was about to say, man, we're gonna have cars going everywhere.
Yeah, it's Nat 1s. It's Nat 1s and Nat 20s only.
All right, what about this? The crit fumbles and the crit hits, like they get capped per session, maybe, like so that they don't like the RB said, so we're not just like throwing cards out constantly.
Oh, I thought of that during my Extra Life charity games. Was like, okay, well maybe only having, like I was gonna, or for my when I tried to run a campaign, I was gonna say, okay, let's use the critical hit cards, the critical fumble cards, but it only happens maybe once a game, so that one time during the game you get like a crazy crit, and then it's like, whoa, but then after that we, calm down.
Yeah. I was only worried about the cards being drawn a lot if we were doing critical success and critical failure. in
Yeah, it's
general.
no,
Yeah, okay,
it's
but
not.
so
Yeah.
Nat 1s and Nat 20s, I'm okay with it.
Yes.
I've definitely watched people's lives completely change for the better or the worse because of mechanics like this. I very rarely, as am a player, so I mean, I'm sure my character's going to get decapitated or have their intestines blown out their asshole, but sure, like, I'll vote for it.
Oh man.
Yeah, the world's turning them on right now.
I want all 3 of the cards though. I want the hero cards and I want the other 2.
What if you could use a hero point to not have your guts blown out your asshole?
Ooh.
And re-roll your now one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Wait,
That's
can you
already
wait?
included.
Wait.
Wait,
Just
Will,
wait to see.
hold on, Will, are you a game designer? This is incredible. Like,
Me putting on my my professor glasses here.
Are you
Keep
gonna
in
want to see the
mind-
card
keep in
first
mind-
before we decide?
Yeah, no. Keep in mind, you're not gonna be able to see the card first before you
Okay.
choose. You only get the card. The card only shows up if you keep the nat one.
all right. It's a good
What
thing
if
we got
I-
a lot of spellcasters then, because we're going to be using a lot of our magic economy to get rid of weird ass debuffs from all these crit fumbles we're going to be rolling.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it makes
and all
sense
these
'cause the
crit
magic
hits we're going to
school-
be taking in the.
That kind of makes sense. As magic schools, lots of magic and weird magic.
You talking about wild
Okay,
magic?
yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
talk about
Brewdog.
wild magic. Listen,
Oh,
man.
hey.
Hey, I like wild magic.
Brewdog and Chad had a good question. Could you use a hero point to diminish the result of a crit against you? So if you got crit, could you spend a hero point to make it a regular
that.
hit?
No, there's fees for that.
Wait,
okay.
what's
well-
the
Yeah,
DM
can
me
you
those
give me
feats?
can you give me a list, Professor, of those feats?
All right, yeah.
I don't.
Where's the
I think there's a fighter feat for it.
I
Oh,
always
okay,
I
okay.
always I always like to see a character I'm playing go all the way, but I have a lot of character ideas. So if like character dies. But this particular character, I'd really like to see this character go all the way. I'm like I have anxiety about this character dying already, and like we haven't even started playing the game, and you're like it's just a really fun. It's fun at school, and I'm
fun.
like,
It's
and the
first
more
fight.
every time you say it's just a fun laid back school adventure, I just picture all the horrible ways I'm gonna fucking die. So
So okay. I'll set this. Okay. This school is about being the stewards that protect the Mogambia Expanse.
There's a nerf.
So
That sounds dangerous.
So yes, you will be, and during the beginning of the campaign, there's gonna be a moment where one of the teachers is gonna have a conversation with you guys, saying that that it's gonna you guys are gonna be in danger at some point.
okay.
It's not
you
quite
have you
Suicide Squad, but we're definitely Teen Titans.
yeah
Okay,
think
yeah.
of My Hero. That's why I said this is kind of like My Hero Academia.
Whoa! Don't. If I had known that, I wouldn't have signed up for the game, bro.
I said that since the beginning.
That show
I
makes
said
me
that's a-
cry all the time. Those are they're
said-
child soldiers, Dom. Those are child soldiers.
Where are the child
Well,
soldiers?
Is it a
man?
problem?
I
I've
would
never
do
seen it.
And that's why
The
you're
best
adults.
of my ability to keep you alive.
All right,
I got
all
dibs
right.
on
I'm gonna
making
hold you to that.
Todoroki.
I'm gonna hold you to
Like,
that.
I will. I'll try to make sure I go down first before Lotus.
Okay, you know what? And I am okay with that. And I'll try to make sure that you go down before Lotus also.
Okay, as long as you
alright.
don't fireball me.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have non-lethal fireball eventually.
Oh,
Yeah.
non-lethal or non-hostile?
No, the one that wizards get, where it's.
Oh, I just thought of a pet peeve. Getting fireballed by my teammates.
Is that really a pet peeve? Didn't you adventure with
What
the,
about
with
lightning
actual
bolt?
chamomile? Oh, that must have been rough.
Did you never fireballed? You were
No, she
fine?
fireballed herself a couple times.
Oh.
But she had that 5e
good,
fire
yeah.
resistance, so Yeah.
I'm alright with getting caught in the
What
AoE.
is
as long
All of a
as it's
sudden,
gonna
I'm
be
remembering a
damage.
lot of things, but that was a long time ago.
Where's
Like
the
if you
hero
get,
card?
if you get hit by an AoE to hit like one other enemy or something, that's some.
Oh yeah, there's
Yes.
But if I say do it, then
Mhm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. If
Okay,
you're
okay,
gonna,
okay,
you're gonna
okay.
torch the whole room to get all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
goblins, like go for it.
I love
Spend
heroic
it.
sacrifice.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that's some of
I've
the
had
hero
your
sections
names
there.
thrown at
moments
me
that
for
happen.
like the past year in Cyberpunk, so I'm
Okay.
pretty used to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're
alright.
immune to grenades. It's not a fair comparison.
Be immune to fireballs.
Except for
I
that
mean,
one grenade.
also, let's be real, guys. They're Pathfinder fireballs. It's not.
Listen, I don't
True.
know.
Yeah,
I
until
don't-
you crit fail.
I took like 50 damage. I don't know. I
Oh.
was.
Now someone whips out an Inner Radiance Torrent for 2-round cast, and
It's over.
Yeah. You
I don't know
Dusty,
what that
stay
is.
in the
I don't know
back.
what
I'm
that
looking
is,
at
but
your
that
health
sounds
right
cool.
now.
All right. Moving forward, stealth. Okay. So questions. I mean, the way I'm going to explain the way I understand stealth mechanics in Pathfinder, and so like I said, I'm going to run this pretty much rules as written, and so don't think about real life when you're thinking about invisibility and stealth and stuff like that. Look at the conditions, and that's what we're going to be looking at.
Okay.
So when someone turns invisible, they are hidden, and that's it.
Well, they're concealed
Unless
too.
they're
No,
hidden is just
hidden better than
hidden is
conceal.
upgrade. Yeah, hidden is an upgrade to conceal.
Yeah.
So they are hidden,
Okay.
and that's pretty much it. And so we really need to worry about too much for the most part. Whether they're you don't know where they are, stuff like that. It's not that they're just hidden.
But
Now, if they were
if they're unknown,
if they spend so then if they're unknown, then they're unknown, and that's a
Okay.
different condition than hidden.
okay,
And then we follow that condition.
got it. Okay.
So we are just we're going to be for stealth stuff. We're following the conditions.
Okay.
This has to come up at least once in every campaign I'm in. What if I cast a lightning spell out the water?
Oh my god.
How does that work?
What is it like? What I mean, that's
What
not
does the
how
spell
electricity works in this universe.
There you go.
Oh god.
That's what I'm asking. I'm not advocating for it.
Yeah.
I'm just it always comes up. At least
there-
one time. It's that exact scenario every time.
So I was marveling over this the other day. I encountered a 5th edition spell that actually stated that you had to spend an action to end the spell, and I was like, this is maybe the only time in 10 years that I think I've seen a spell tell you that you have to spend an action to end it, right? Where all the others are just like, yeah, whenever you want, I don't, whatever, right? It's not like that with these Pathfinder spells. Like, they are pretty airtight about what they can do. You play Magic, Red. Like, they're Magic.
Yeah.
They're Magic
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Gathering cards. Yeah, they're Magic the Gathering cards.
That's
Like,
cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, they got a combination of keywords that sometimes you have to look the keywords up, but like they say exactly what they do and they do exactly what they say. And like, I haven't encountered any spells where I'm like, but what if? Like, it's always very clear
'Cause that's
cut.
when
Like,
it breaks down.
right, it's very clear.
They write novel, and they the spells are a novel for a reason because they're trying to cover it, as many edge cases as they can.
Yeah, there's a ton of spells.
Yeah.
It's not like 5e.
Yeah.
You just get the same ones over and over.
All right. So yeah, about that. NPCs, group initiative, vendors, other creature rules, nothing there. Magic items. Okay, so magic items. Okay, there is something that's gonna, and I mentioned this before, and something to think about too is in this game, in this campaign, you guys are gonna have a relic. There's gonna be a part closer to the end of and it, for relics, they say you should let the players know beforehand and around when they're going to get it. So around the end of close to the end of book 1, you guys are going to get a relic. This relic is a magic item that is going to grow with you. Now, you're not be able to pick what it is. It's going to be a mask. One of the things that a mask. And this is something that you guys will know about the Magambia is that once you become once you get to a certain rank in the school, you gain a mask and you lose your beads. I explained this to Red a little bit before, but when you guys first join here, you guys are going to get a wristband or like a string of beads. And that string of beads is how they're going to identify you as members of the Magambia. Once you get to a certain rank, you lose your beads and you get a mask. And that mask is going to be created by you guys, by yourself, by your characters. Your character's going to create your own mask. And in this game, we're going to be that's going to be a relic, and using the relic system in Pathfinder 2e. So there's actually a mod for it too that added all the relic features into the game and a little breakdown of how they work.
Wow.
Pretty much, it's a magic item that you're going to be able to customize as you level up. And there's also things that are there's also other things that happen with this mask throughout the rest of the campaign that could also affect it. So we'll see. If you guys stumble across stuff like that, we'll see. But yes, you're going to have each person is going to have one customizable magic item. The way the relic system works is that when you create the item, you're going to pick 2 traits, and those 2 each trait has a suite of minor and major abilities. And at certain levels, you're going to be able to choose a minor, and at certain levels, you're going to be able to choose a major.
Nice.
Now, the way this is going to be working is that there's going to be certain story moments that are going to happen, which allows you guys to add a gift to your relic. It's not just going to be tied to your character's level. There's going to be certain story moments, and maybe side quests. So,
Do the masks have like a uniform thing, or is everyone's
no,
kind of their own thing?
it's so the idea is the mask is supposed to represent your spirit face.
Okay.
So it will change over time. It will you guys are gonna when you design it, when you get the chance to design it, it may evolve and change over time as well in terms of look. All right. In terms of spells and the uncommon spells. In this campaign, your guys are going to mainly only have access to common spells, and because magic is an important thing about this campaign, and learning about magic is part of the thing. Uncommon spells do exist, but they are going to be things that you're going to have to, find and unlock and get to through gameplay. Maybe you become friends with somebody and they have a spell from back home that is down from family to family, and they teach you because you're good friends. Things like that. So for the most part, you guys are not going to have access to uncommon spells, just by buying them or getting them or just adding them when you level up. You have to find them through gameplay. But they are out there. All right, death and resurrection, dying and resting. Okay. So we kind of talked about that through the hero points things. In terms of resurrection, this is a very high magic school. And we're not like in a high magic, we're not like in a wild magic zone where, it'd be crazy to do it. But this is going to be something that might come up during the campaign, and resurrection is an uncommon spell. So if you feel like that's something you may want to try and get as a safe bet or something to have in the background, you may want to spend some time trying to learn and find that ritual at some point.
Is that a divine spell only?
No, you actually don't have to be a spellcaster. Yeah, it's a ritual. You don't have to be a spellcaster to do it.
That's neat. Okay, cool.
But you lose a little part of yourself every time.
Did you,
Oh,
did
shit.
you mention
Raise dead is a quarter spell.
which languages were going to be important, or no?
Yes, I put them in the Discord. I'll post it here again.
Okay.
I think somebody pinned it in the character creation channel too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's pinned.
I'm sure it was mentioned in the player's guide, but maybe no.
They actually didn't mention
Oh.
mention all of them in the player's guide. Actually, the player's guide for Strength of the Odds is not that good. I'll say that right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was a
Still-
little. I wasn't disappointed with it, but I was like, "Where's my cool section to tell me what race to play or what class to play?" I was kind of sad.
Yeah, like
I can't
looking at
believe
the Soggy.
Aklo is not on the list. Like, I've never seen a
Yeah.
Pathfinder product that didn't just have Aklo everywhere.
Wasn't
wow.
Aqua renamed?
Is what?
No, it's still Echo.
it's still Echo.
It's
Echo was
Echo.
saved. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there was some changes to the
So,
names.
like I said, the first ones are very common to the region. Not saying they're going to be common to the campaign, but they're common to the region. And the other ones are uncommon to the region, but not necessarily mean they're uncommon to the campaign. That makes sense.
Mm.
So, but all of these are.
So is Russian
think-
going to come up? It's literally on the list of languages.
It's not going to come up.
Sasquatch.
Jotun, maybe.
Oh,
Not Sasquatch.
Galarian.
I think you should learn Russian
wild.
just because I think it'd really funny if
Right?
Gladius showed up.
Yeah,
on
Russian. That's a spoiler for a different AP.
Yeah, it's another
Oh,
AP.
is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one about
It's
me,
a.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
a. Is it a 1E
Yeah.
adventure or is it a 2E? I think it's a 1E adventure. isn't
It's a 1E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
I've been looking at those recently.
Oh yeah, there's some real gems in the 1E adventures. Yeah.
So is
And
there
keep in mind about
Crimson Throne and Iron Gods. I would love to run both of those.
keep in mind too about languages too. Is that if you guys ever get an increase in your intelligence, you learn a new language too.
Mm.
So,
our language is going to be
And-
super important?
and I believe I wonder if language can be retrained. I think they can.
I don't
So
know.
that's one thing to think about. I mean, actually, I don't know about that because that's a 1 week to retrain your entire. I don't know. I'll have to look. I think retrain actually lists all the stuff you can change. I don't think language is one of them. Maybe not. But yeah, the languages are there. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's it. That's the end of the list.
Can we go through everyone's name? That way
Yes.
I don't mispronounce anything.
Yes, let's do that.
Do I have to take a Murren even though I'm a cat person? It's like locked.
You get it for free. You get it for free.
Okay, got it.
I had a list actually I wrote up of things I wanted to go over real quick.
Mhm.
You actually may have went over there. We using fans the same way we're using outlaws? I don't know what that means. I think we covered that already, so I'm gonna delete that. Hero cards, covered that. Absences for PCs. Do other PCs want to run PCs who are missing?
Oh man.
How do we feel about that?
I don't really think it's that much of a problem at low levels. At higher levels, it'll start to get a little tricky.
It'll be
Yeah,
an
like these
issue.
these characters
Yeah.
a little like 5th level and beyond with everything going on. It's gonna be rough trying to run with the character.
Maybe
It
who
was
we're already
it was
connected with
manageable all the way
backstory.
through
Hmm.
Abomination Vaults, and that went up to
Remember,
10.
you guys in Abomination Vaults, you didn't have like a whole suite of 1 to 2 other trees of
That's true.
branch
spells,
abilities.
spells and stuff. Yeah, that's
What
true.
And
would the
branch abilities.
alternative be though? Would it be like they don't come out? They're sleeping in the dorm or what?
I mean, that could be a thing, and I know the encounters are supposed to be with 4 people,
Hmm.
so we can do that. Or I have them, come here. And if nobody feels they can play with them, I'll play with them subparly.
I know Summoner's kind of super complicated, but someone here has played Summoner already, so they can just take over. If ever
Yeah,
So you're
I
locked
wouldn't
in?
put it on
Wow.
the,
You're
just
just
run
really
somebody who's out.
Pawning your
Yeah.
character off.
How about if somebody wants to run the character that's absent? They can do it.
You need to get permission
That's
from the other
fine.
player.
Yeah.
From the player.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
don't mind somebody
That's
running it. I don't want to run anybody.
Mutual agreement between both parties.
Yeah,
is what
it has to be mutual agreement between both parties. If no one wants to run your character, I'll run them subparly. If they need to be there. If they don't need to be there, we might have them sit out. And then show up later.
My stomach's feeling. I'm not.
Well, you've got the NPC compendium, right? Like you could just give us like a classmate to fill in for them, and it would just be like a more simplistic.
Like I said,
snapshot.
it depends on the situation. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I have a question. Are you gonna have a B team system?
So
Oh.
I was actually going to bring this up. Next. It's
Sounds like with the strength of thousands on it.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of
so-
YouTube.
Guess it's a
So,
strength of 1,000
it's a-
minus 5, huh?
It's a bit weird. The way this campaign is set up, you guys are going to be you guys are going to be a cohort, and that cohort is a set number of people that are designed. They're set assigned tasks to complete those tasks
Mhm.
for those people. Now you going and having an NPC come out and help you. That's going to be a thing, but you're always going to be doing stuff with the organization. So there's always going to be, for the most part, some people there with NPCs with you doing things. Now, if I make it be the B team system, it's a bit weird. It's kind of like in how in Mythic we have the whole ship and all the people on the ship. a lot of times that whole people on the ship are going to be going out with you and doing stuff. And you guys are going to be working together on a bunch of stuff. Now, if you guys want to pick, 5 people to do that with, I think we could probably set up something. But you guys, there's going to be a lot of, you guys are going to have a huge document of B team people if that's the case. And sometimes, and like you guys, as I mentioned before, at some point you guys are going to be teachers. You're going to be going out and doing stuff with your students. I don't know if you want your students to be your B team members.
Oh, great.
So like this might be one of those things where we might need to see how you guys are going through to the campaign, and maybe at certain points you might have a B team, a set of people, NPCs, and I'll make them be B team for this part of the adventure, and then they might go away.
See how many strays we pick up, kind of thing.
Yeah, who knows? You might run into some people and they stick with you for the rest of the campaign, and then maybe they'll be just like a Quan from Rhyme, where they just hang out, and I never make them a B team player. They're always in danger.
Poor Quan.
But for the most part, I think I will see. I think I'm not saying no. We might end up having it, but it's going to be very dependent on what the situation is inside this campaign, because there's a lot of like people coming in and people leaving, and I don't know if people are going to be staying around.
The next thing on my list is, do we want to argue about rules now? ? And that's, I guess, about Humber rules. I have the remaster's coming out soonish, maybe like 3 months, give or take. Did you want to wait per book to deal with those changes, or how soon did you want to handle that?
Foundry will force us to at some point.
Foundry will force us. Okay.
Yeah, at some point. But and at that point we'll see. If it's I whenever there's like when that update comes where it's like, hey, this is the update that changes Summoner, and this is the update that changes Sorcerer, then we'll look at them. We'll know about what the changes are beforehand. And if we're like, hey, those changes sound cool, then I'll just let Foundry force us update, and then hope, and you guys will be we'll have like a maybe like a session or a post game before the update or something like that, where we go through it and see what the changes are.
Yeah, I think
for the most part, it doesn't look like much
in core 2.
Yeah, so we have an investigator, summoner, and a sorcerer that are going to be changed in when those remasters come through. But I don't know the extent of those changes are yet. And you also have the one, Foundry might force us to, and 2, you guys will have the respec as well at level 5, 10, 15. And retraining is also a thing too. So what I might do is when the remaster hits, I probably won't update until we get to a point where things are clear, are
downtime.
Yeah, downtime or stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I have, this is a very Vanji-centric thing, but I wanted to ask about it. Eidolons and alchemical items. It's kind of a up to DM situation, from what I understand, regarding Eidolons using alchemical items. There's rules about them not using magical items, but alchemical.
I mean, what is what like post the rule, and we'll see what it says.
So there's 2 rules. I don't have them on me. The first
is it
rule,
on your sheet?
Oh, I don't think
for
so. I can look,
Eidolons?
I can look. I don't think it is though.
Eidolons. There's a big huge book here. So let me post this.
The doctor says Eidolons can't drink them themselves.
Well, he doesn't have thumbs, so I guess I could assume that.
You're on your Eidolon, lost and altered actions. All right, your Eidolon gains bonuses, blah blah. Coordinating actions together don't affect together. Okay, don't increase their response. Rules. Especially then become slower. So
I figured it'd be under the gear and Eidolons tab over here. And it's your Eidolon can't wear or use magic items except for items with the Eidolon trait on it, and that's where it kind of gets a little funky because it doesn't say except for magic items with the Eidolon trait. It's except for items with the Eidolon trait, but there's a comma there. And I really should have gone to English school if I wanted to play Pathfinder.
Here, Eidolon can't wear or use magic items. except for items with the Eidolon trait. Okay, so it's saying it can't use magic gear, can't wear gear or use magic items unless those items have the
Okay.
Eidolon trait.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine with me. That's cool.
So
Yeah,
if the item is not magical
you're good to go.
and you can't and it's not wearable, then you're good to go.
Today you can dump it on yourself, but yeah,
So,
they're alchemical in nature.
Here's my next question then. Can I?
So he can't hold a potion
Oh,
because
could
he
he
can't wear the potion.
could he eat a potion like a
Yes.
healing potion? That's magical.
As long as it was alchemical, right?
Yeah. He can't use magic items. So yeah, I mean, you can. I think in this case, I think you could feed him a potion. Yes,
Nice.
Okay.
because it's
He could
just
feed him a
that's just-
potion, but he couldn't
mean,
use a
this is-
potion.
I mean, that's just healing you. It's you using it's him
Yeah,
drinking a healing
'cause-
potion is just going to affect you.
True. Okay.
Yeah, because you guys share health, so
We do.
Yeah,
it's just
Yeah.
healing you.
Okay, that sounds good. You know what that means, Will? You're gonna pump this dog full of drugs.
I
So
don't
that's
know.
good.
The ethics,
which is
Oh, I thought you guys were done with
pumping
Cyberpunk. What's happening?
the ethics are concerning here. You have to convince
No,
them.
he's a ghost. He's fine.
You know, there's gonna be a T-shirt on campus. Be like, you can't be doing that to
Yeah,
your,
no.
Say no
your
to
spirit
say no to
dog.
I don't
drugs.
know. I don't know if Char's on board with the animal testing. Let's see.
The last
Oh.
the last thing I had on my list was Faxpiration, the way we do it in Soggy, asking other players who have also rolled for the Faxpiration question.
Oh yes, I like that. So
Mhm.
with Faxpiration, you can choose to ask an NPC or you can choose to ask another player. That player has the prerogative of saying no, they don't want to answer it.
Okay.
Usually, if you roll out, you want to answer it, though. I feel like so, like
Mhm.
that's kind of where I guess
Now they don't get the Faxpiration for answering it, but
Hmm.
the person who gets the Faxpiration for answering is the one who rolled and won the question and answered it first. But you can always ask another NPC if you're curious another PC if you're curious. But that PC is the one who decides if they answered or not.
There's been a lot of times in both Outlaws and Cyberpunk I've wanted to ask other PCs, even though I rolled the highest. I'm like, no, but I want to know what Fridge thinks about this question. Like I enjoy that change quite a lot because I can get
Yeah,
lore.
I like what we're doing in Saga too.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, more war.
more lore.
mhm. But you
Okay,
can still always ask an NPC if you want to. So,
That was the end of my list.
all right. Anybody else have any other questions?
Not really a question, but I will have a massive share doc for us, like most of my other games, that I
Okay.
compile with all the NPCs or stats and or downtime lists, stuff that we use in Soggy and Seal Curse. So
Awesome.
Oh, Dom, another thing. Could you give us the ability to add dates on the calendar?
Oh yeah. I'm surprised I didn't. Yeah, I'll give you guys that.
Thank you. I was trying to add Vanji's birthday, and I was very sad I couldn't.
All right. Permissions. View calendar. Trusted player. Add notes. Trusted player. Yeah. Save.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess Foundry stuff too. Does anybody have any questions about Foundry stuff?
Yeah, is there a way to get it to automatically go to the bottom of the chat instead of having to hit jump down?
To have it auto scroll?
Yeah, or I don't know.
I think if
I
you're
feel-
at the bottom, it should auto scroll. I think if you're a single pixel up, it will not auto scroll anymore.
Oh,
So you have to really rock
Yeah.
that mouse all the way to the bottom.
okay.
If you hit the scroll to the bottom button, once you hit it once and you don't move it, then it will keep scrolling for you.
Okay. Well, Darby, you had a question about names, right?
yeah, just go through everyone's like how they pronounce them.
Okay. Start from left to right.
T'Charo.
Churro. Okay.
T'Charo. Got it.
All right.
Shalia. She also goes by Ash.
All right. You've been saying it wrong this entire time.
This
Shalia.
gonna be- So it's Ash Alia.
I definitely mispronouncing it Ashalia. Which
We'll
is
just have to speak in
definitely
third person for the
definitely
first.
wrong.
I literally
sorry.
asked. I
Ash
literally
there,
asked
too.
the robot how I'm supposed to pronounce.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's an Ashley too.
This is a good question for Leah because do you know how to?
Do I know how to pronounce what?
Because
No,
I've heard
honestly.
two different pronunciations.
Well, listen, I get called Leia, Leah, Lena. It's just a mixed bag. I just anything that sounds like it, I just it's just gotta accept it at this point.
Leela and Lila.
Yeah, yes. Every time someone would say those names, it sounds like someone's trying to talk to me. Like, but this time around, I'm playing Vanji, which is I believe how you pronounce it, unless it's pronounced differently, Dom, that you've seen
No.
somewhere. Okay.
It's Vanji. Yeah, Vanji.
Vanji. Yep, Vanji, named after the Vanji River that runs next to Natambu.
So this is Lutus. So
Damn it.
yeah, if you guys,
Right.
yeah, no, it's just this, yeah, it's just Lotus is pronounced like it sounds, or I guess like you would expect, I should say. So
Oh, I forgot. Hold on.
oh, this one's tricky.
True.
Man, that's such
Yeah,
a cute,
I mean-
that's such a cute dog.
With those ears.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
mean,
Did you need his name? He is no. I can't think of
No.
No, no.
No,
Noodle.
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 Got it.
Noodle is his name.
Right, Noodle.
Noodle. That's it.
Beautiful.
Last but not least.
Yeah, they are dusty,
Okay.
and I'm trying not to stick to any particular gender of it because kobold.
Okay. Fair.
It's kind of hard to tell anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I chose an I instead of a Y.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Dig it.
Great. I guess with that, we can go through and do pronouns too for everybody. We'll start from the top again.
I guess he, him. I don't know. They wouldn't really care one way or another.
Okay.
I like the background for the
She, her.
pop out.
All right.
He him.
Right.
They would go she, her, or they, them.
And Dusty.
Yeah. Most of the time they them, but I don't think he'd ever or she would ever. Either way, I think it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
All right.
if it ever comes to zoo, it's dusty. Yeah.
Mm.
Zesty. Gotcha.
Alrighty.
Dusty.
All
is
right. Good to
dusty.
go.
I had a question. How do we get all of our Pokemons into the game?
Oh yes.
Yeah, 'cause, like, I got familiars and summons and all that
All right.
stuff.
Do you have a do you have a specific familiar, or do you
As a
have just a
witch, I very much have a familiar.
I know you have a familiar, but do you have because the way familiars work, and I have the mod for it too, is if you have enough
Yeah.
ability slots, you can have a specific familiar that actually has abilities.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've
I'm familiar
decided
with
to have that.
it.
You're familiar with that?
Yeah.
Are you asking if it's like a familiar with like a specific form, like with a name?
Well, no.
or is it
Straight up,
No.
Red, you can like use your familiar points to buy like a Pokemon.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
get like a fairy dragon with enough coins. Yeah, it's
or
all
you
that.
just have
It's what you
I'm
call.
playing-
And
Like I'm playing.
which gets like bonus points like over the other classes so that they can access like the Pokemons faster than everybody else essentially.
Mhm. I'm planning to do that on my wizard in Soggy.
My familiar is a scorpion. It represents the feeling of what is it? resentment. So it appears hostile to everyone except Lotus. And it is a hideous thing to behold. Green and purple and whatnot. It has the following abilities: independent, lifelink, and tattoo transformation.
Oh, tattoo
So
transformation.
it has three. Has three.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is
All right,
also it is also called the Familiar of Ongoing Misery.
Oh,
That's the name of it. Familiar of ongoing
did
misery.
you
Yeah.
did you name it, or did it come from the pet store that way?
No, that's his that's its number one trait. Is that's the familiar of ongoing misery. Your familiar seems hostile to all creatures other than you, hissing at them
Oh
if they
my
get too near.
god.
When you cast or sustain a hex, your familiar can curse a creature within 15 feet of it, prolonging the duration of any negative conditions affecting it by 1 round.
Wow.
This is a curse effect. This prolongs only conditions with a time duration, such as 1 round or until the end of your next turn. It doesn't prevent conditions from being removed by other means. But since my lovely Scorpion is also my spell book, it's going to spend most of its time as a tattoo. So.
Right. In
Oh,
that case, does he have a? Did you have him have an actual personal name for him? Does Lotus have an actual personal name for him?
Yes, Lotus's Scorpion familiar is named Nessa.
Oh no!
I was gonna ask him if
Oh.
he's still a centaur.
Oh no!
It's a miniature
All right,
horse.
hold on 1 second. Familiar
Just
of
it just
ongoing
it just
misery.
Oh,
it just
yeah, that
came
makes
to me.
sense.
It just
That
came
makes so
to
much
me.
sense.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Put this in here
Crash that
and make.
multiverse.
All right. Make Crash your owner. All right, and
See, this
then
just means
the
the
master
Lotus
is
Witch
Lotus.
can talk about this time they went to Magic School with all these really cool people.
Eventually,
she
it
can
hasn't
talk
happened
about
yet.
this. Yeah, that or it had already has.
Or
We don't know.
things, yeah.
Or, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, it's
So-
whether you're in the Dungeons and Dragons multiverse or the Pathfinder multiverse, there's always time cops. So you gotta be real careful with this shit. You gotta be real careful with this shit. Always time cops. And the time cops in Galarian look way cooler. Let me tell you, they ain't just
They're
eyeball
harder.
robots. Yeah.
There might be something wrong with your. Did you import using Path Muncher?
Yeah.
Because it put pet instead of familiar for your familiar. So right now I'm looking at your familiar and it's not giving you all your abilities because it thinks you're having the pet. You have the pet feat
Huh.
instead of the familiar feat. So we might need to make some adjustments there.
Oh, I see there. It has pet. All right, why don't I just
Yeah.
delete it and put familiar?
Yeah. See if that updates.
All right. Well, I've removed the pet thing from familiar. I don't know if that helps.
Maybe delete familiar witch and then we'll drag it back down. Drag it back familiar witch back in.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Oh, it says it's a core thing and it should not be removed. I deleted it.
Under no
Okay,
circumstances
all
must
right.
you delete this file.
It's doing
Fair
pet.
enough.
Okay, what we might need to do
Now
is
I got it twice, bro.
yeah. What you might want to do is just go ahead and delete witch off your character sheet and
Oh
add
my
witch back.
god.
Oh god, you really
It's
do
okay.
the whole 9 yards.
Will I lose
It'll-
all my spells and stuff?
No, you won't.
Okay.
No. Those are all separate.
All right, I've deleted witch. I'm no longer a
And
witch.
drag it and just drag it back onto your sheet.
Okay, let me make sure.
And then go through the mini game of making your selections again.
Okay. All right, witch. Boop. Oh, okay. Got it. I only had to make one choice.
It did it again. It gave you pet instead of familiar. Because I'm looking at your familiar. Like I gave you access to your familiar. Do you see all the slots to put your abilities?
I just see familiar of ongoing misery. That's it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you're supposed to have a bunch.
No,
You're
wait.
supposed to
It
have a
says
drop.
here total number of familiar abilities 4,
Right.
but I don't see a spot to actually drop them.
Oh, you know what it is?
Mhm.
I see. Okay, and this is how it works in Soggy too. That's the reason I should have known this. All right, so if you look on your character sheet, there's like a little rest button and a little
Mhm.
coffee button next to it.
Yeah.
You want to hit the little coffee button.
Okay. Oh, I have to pick out their abilities every day. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Cool.
and I'll make a token for your scorpion.
And when it comes to your other summons, Crash, since you mentioned it, have you ever summoned a creature before on Pathfinder using the spell?
Yes, I played a summoner for 10 levels.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the game will just do it for you. You see, you're fine. Never
Oh, okay.
mind.
But what if I want hilarious meme summons? You know, like
They'll all be available.
okay.
You'll see them. The game will give you control over them as well when you summon them.
Oh, okay, and then I can change out the art and stuff.
No,
Well,
but
how are they gonna be hilarious meme summons then?
we can use our thoughts in our brains.
Okay.
Descriptive terms.
Descriptive terminology. You can paint us a picture, and we can
I'm
like paint
back.
over the
Wow.
picture.
What are we
So
talking
you
about?
send me, or have the art ready in your folder, and just change the token real quick.
And independent. Okay.
All right. I knew I was missing something. I was missing your familiar art. Is this it in the thread?
I think I sent
really-
it. Might have sent it to you direct.
I don't remember. I don't know if I have it
Million
directly, but I do
years
see it.
Yeah.
I do see it in the thread though. Is it
Okay.
this scary looking
Yes.
black?
Is it the most terrifying scorpion you've ever seen? Then that's the one. Yeah.
Is it hissy?
Yeah.
World of Warcraft.
All right. Let me make this token real quick.
Independent. Pays her own bills. Drives her own car. Independent familiar.
Now you need to get the what you call it, the pet feature, and then get
Hey,
Uh,
we're in
I'll-
business now.
a small puppet that is like named Sibo.
Ugh. You could really like roll up with a ton of pets in this game. It's kind of nuts. I think
Yeah, and it's fine, and it's fine too.
I did a practice build that had like 8. Yeah, you ended up controlling like 8 things or something. It's just stupid.
I mean, it's all good too because you're still limited by your action economy.
Well, a little bit. Summoner, once you get the hang of it, you're not gonna feel like you've only got 3 action economy.
Like you have
5 to 7.
6 probably.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, 5 to 7 action economy. It's pretty awesome.
All right, duplicates.
I like that you can just take an archetype and just get a pet if you really, really, really
Mhm.
want one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's super
That's
cool.
really nice.
That pet is flimsy as hell though. So be careful with that.
Well, this is
Yeah,
just it. We're just hanging out and going to school, so it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like our pets are gonna get killed just hanging out. That being said, mine's almost always gonna be a tattoo, so it doesn't get killed by like the janitor or something.
Oh,
Cut away, squish.
Well, it says it seems hostile to all creatures. If I saw this scorpion, and I would kill it. You know what I'm saying? Like
You're just
yeah.
sweeping the hall, and this fucking scorpion comes along and hisses at you. Like,
Yeah.
Walking around with a kitchen knife, and it's
It's not a
Exactly.
shark though, so I think we're safe.
Yeah, it's not a shark.
Yeah. And you could do some pretty cool stuff with familiars too. Like, it's really fun. It reminds me, I say this a lot about Pathfinder 2, of the 4th edition familiar system, which was very much like choose your Pokemans. Like I remember having a crawling claw as a familiar, like a disembodied hand or whatever. But it was on
You can have that.
it was on an ice sorceress, so it got like eventually abilities that made it like an ice hand, like a hand made of ice. I don't know, it was just really cool. Like there's a lot of cool stuff you can do. This is even more customizable than that, so it's like very exciting.
I look forward to
Oh,
seeing
Also,
your
I
your
can
scorpion fight.
I could talk to insects because I can speak the language of my familiar.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's gonna be good.
is that just like limited to bugs specifically, or is there
Yes.
like bug speech? Oh, okay.
I mean, what classifies as an insect? Like if Lotus views someone as an insect, can she speak their language? Maybe.
Yeah, I forget where it said it, but you can speak the language of your familiar's form essentially, which I think is kind of a fun thing. They really improved Witch a lot in the revised.
I'm ready.
So,
Start hexing people, you know?
yeah, we'll see. I'm not a big fan of Vancian casting system though, so I don't like making a lot of decisions. So having like all the
Have you-
spells and then having to pick just a couple of spells feels bad. So,
Yeah, that sounds bad.
yeah.
Find your favorite spell and take it multiple times.
Right? Yeah, I don't anticipate changing my spell list too often. But the real secret is wands.
True.
Yeah.
They're expensive though.
Yeah. You just live or die by your wand collection.
Hmm.
It's definitely gonna be a guy with a wand collection. This is actually
I thought
Phoenix
about that.
Ashmark.
I thought about that, Dr. Robin Zero. I thought about pursuing the flexible spellcaster, but I kind of want to challenge myself a bit. I never play like wizards or anything because I hate Vancian casting that much. So like I'm playing a witch wizard in this, and I feel like that's gonna really push me to learn the Vancian casting system finally. So
I always thought I was pronounced Venetian, which is not how it's pronounced, but I just
it's I guess
Venetian to
it's
me.
named after the writer who originally came up with this terrible spellcasting system.
Ah, he was Venetian. That makes sense.
I think his name was actually Vancian, but sure.
Oh. Well, my cool lore is more fun than that. So
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you say Venetian, doesn't that mean they're from
they're
Venice?
from Venice.
I was like, what? Who's talking about?
Everyone's Italian. You know?
Mm. Yeah, Jack Vance was his real name, so Vancian
he
is
was-
why it's pronounced like
I'm
that.
sure he
yeah.
was Venetian if you.
Oh my
Google it.
goodness. Listen, Venice is a pretty magical place, so I wouldn't put it past them. It's a pretty magical place. I was forced to go there many times as a child, so
Did you meet Jack Vance there?
no, I did not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I
I haven't played with the LA yet, but
You're really sticking to it.
Yeah.
I
Red,
gotta
what's
stick
your
to that.
chaos meter?
Chaos Meter.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I'm really excited to play with all of you.
Oh, okay.
Again,
Okay. I
that's
got
not-
a 10.
Didn't we play an Extra Life together?
Yes, we did.
My beautiful familiar
Yeah.
is here. She's just the sweetest, by the way. She's a great listener. Really good insight.
Unconscious.
So.
Oh,
There she is.
well, it's
Yeah.
bigger. It's as big as me. Okay, now I'm scared.
Wait, what is the size in this familiar? What the hell?
He's tiny.
What size?
Yeah,
what
it's
size?
It's tiny. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is bigger than the dog.
Apparently,
What's
it don't
Yeah.
count no hit
Too
points.
small.
There we go.
There it
There we
goes. There it goes. 5 out of 5.
5 hit points. No wonder it's going to be a
Yeah.
tattoo for a while.
Yeah. You don't want to lose your spell book on fight.
Right?
Tattoos making rude gestures at people.
He definitely looks like a type of familiar that would catch a broomstick for sure.
You turn around, Noodle is just eating the scorpion.
And then
It's
Lotus
gonna be
can't
an
cast
issue,
any
we gotta-
spells.
Gotta keep your
Uh,
animals
Yeah, I like
separate.
almost see Noodle and them just hissing and barking at each other.
You bringing these
I
guys
was,
into the
I
dorm
was
or what?
listening to the witch guide and I was like, what a predicament to be in, you know what I'm saying? Because they're like, yeah, you're familiar, it can really jank people up, it gives you like so much more duration with your spells, blah blah, and I'm like, it's got 5 hit points. If it dies, I don't have spells for a week. I feel like that's
Oh,
not.
just a day. Just a
Oh.
day.
Is it only a day to get them back?
Which
Or
comes
which,
back
yes.
in a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, which
okay.
comes back in the day.
All right. I don't know. I'm very protective.
Does
of
anybody else have
my
any
My
pets?
sweet little girl. So.
And because of the
No pets for
Venetian
now.
spellcasting you have, you can like keep your spell book for the rest of the day and then
Uh,
back.
Gotcha.
Maybe
I
if you
wanted
make it to
to-
level 9.
I wanted like a covert operative assistant that's really bad at movement skills. What would I? What's the archetype I need?
Summer.
I just summoned a guy.
Yeah, you can have angry spirit, angry phantom be your.
Angry Phantom. That's
You
Angry
just, are
Birds
you
is
just, wait,
the
just paying a
funny-
guy to you just hire has a higher leg?
And I get a proficiency in acting. That's the
Mm.
question.
Yeah, you could give him proficiency in a performance. Yeah.
Oh,
I have a
I'll file that
question.
away for future reference.
What is like the handle animal equivalent in this game, or is it just you need
Nature.
Nature.
Okay, okay.
I think there's this in the basic action macro. It's command.
I don't know. I
animal.
don't know what's wrong with Noodle's thing, but let's just not fix it. I think it's
Yeah,
great.
look at that.
I don't know why it's token so big on the chat.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. Wait, why is it so big on the? Oh, I know
I've noticed
why.
that- Oh,
See, I know why too, Dumb, but I'm not fixing it. But I'll fix it if you really want me to. I can fix it.
He's
I'll
asserting
fix it.
dominance.
whoa! Command animal.
Yeah,
We need a card. We need a card for this.
We probably need to show Red where the basic macro.
Yes. So yes, red.
Yes.
If you go down to the bottom where your hotbar is, and
Yeah.
you go over to the left hand side where the little folder is,
Got it. Basic macros.
there should be a player macros. There should be a basic action macro.
Okay.
You want to bring that to your bar.
Oh
right.
wow!
Now, if you have yourself selected, and you click on that thing, a little window pops up and has all the basic actions that you can do together, and then it shows you what your pluses are for them. Some of them don't that are, if there's multiple skills you can choose from, they don't tell you the right number. So like recall knowledge, there's like 5 different skills you probably have that you can use to recall knowledge. It doesn't tell you what the number is for all of them. It just says -1 because it can't figure out everything.
Okay.
But whenever you want to do something, there's a lot of stuff here, but whenever you want to do something, I'll probably mention one of these skills. You can just come to here, have your character selected, have the thing you're trying to do the skill to targeted, and just hit this button. And the little card will pop up. It will roll the proper dice, take the things, make it hidden if it needs to be hidden.
You
And
should,
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask, but does it automatically hide certain things?
Yeah.
Cool.
you should show Red what you see, Dom. Just so
Oh,
he
yeah.
can- yeah.
So,
We
yeah.
only see, private roll dice.
Yeah. So when you rolled it, I saw this here. I'll take a little screenshot.
Creature notices you palming an object, and the GM determines the.
No,
response.
I'm the best in the party in it, and I still horrible.
Looking great.
Make a stealth check.
No
That's pretty
steal.
average.
That
If a creature could see you, you're now hidden instead of observed. If you were hidden, now you're undetected.
Look at all those languages we got, though. That's cool.
you're set up.
Yeah, we have a nice spread.
Yeah.
And one thing to keep in mind too about this basic action macro is that at the top it has tabs for different types of modes that we're in. So in a fight, things that take like normal actions to do, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, there'll be an encounter. Things that are like you would do while traveling or doing outside of combat, they're in exploration. And then there's big downtime ones, which is if you're out in the wilderness and you need to survive, pretty much all subsistence there.
Mm.
Is there going to be exploration in this campaign?
Yes, a little bit of it. Not.
Okay.
It's less. There's going to be travel from one place to another place, and that's going to be one of those things where you're not going to be going hex by hex. It's going to be you guys are on your way there, and it's going to take this many days, and maybe there's some encounters along the way.
Cool.
Exploration activities also necessarily aren't like distance travel activities. They can be.
Yes.
But a lot of times like exploration activities will be like if you're moving through a dungeon kind of situation.
Mm.
Mhm.
Like if you're moving from one room into the other and you need to find the other room or something, like stuff like that. That's the exploration activities that you're probably gonna do.
Once at some points I might actually do this thing where I select all of you guys and
Yeah, the macro.
and hit this button and a little pop-up will pop up for you guys to set exploration activities. Is that the oh, that's set. Where's the request one?
Yeah, I gotta get request.
Yeah, I gotta get requests.
And like we'll go through everything as it comes up as well for both you and Will. Because there's like a lot. Like you could study Pathfinder and still not learn everything. Like
No, I
there's a
don't think
lot.
that's very useful. I think there's just too much.
Yeah,
to all
things
know.
will come up, and we don't mind slowing down to like explain things or like go over how things work.
Facebook.
So yeah, this will pop up, and then you guys can pick what you guys are doing. While we're exploring a dungeon.
I will borrow an arcane spell, please.
And what does that
Check
do?
it out,
I don't even know.
I have no
We'll click
idea.
that. We'll
You're an
click it and
arcane
see.
spellcaster
Okay.
prepares for a spellbook. You can attempt to prepare a spell for someone else's spellbook. I'm not an arcane caster, so it doesn't apply to me, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Oh, so if you had a party of wizards, you could just like share each other's spells.
Just house, yeah.
Yeah.
Book club, wizard
Book
book.
club, Wizard Book Club. We still could do Wizard Book Club. We could all take wizard archetypes. So.
Now, another thing too, we have all the the animations, stuff like that. So feel free to add animations to stuff if you want, but a lot of them are already built in. Most of them are already built in. They did a really good job of automating it.
Is it automatic animations?
Yeah,
That's still the same kind of workflow.
they have like they made a mod that if you have it turned on, they automatically fill out all the information for everything that's in Pathfinder to make sure you have an animation for everything.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's because they had nothing
That's
else. They had nothing else to do after they set it up.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Hmm.
And it also updates too when new stuff from JP2A comes out.
Nice.
Red, I'd say the trickiest part is getting used to targeting stuff.
Is it
It's
T?
definitely it's T.
Okay, awesome. All right.
It's
Yeah,
very
because-
important in this one too.
But it's starting
The
to
target stuff.
become a part of like core Foundry for 5e also. So I'm glad people are getting into the habit of it because when it's set up properly, man, it saves so much
I
time.
mean, it's super helpful.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be rolling against DCs a lot, right? So it'll just figure that out for us.
Yeah.
Depending on the settings, like Dom can see like exactly how much we missed by and stuff like that. But you can also set it up that players can see exactly how much they missed by, which depending on the group, you know what I mean? Like how much mystery do you want? That kind of thing.
I don't
Yeah.
love
I
it
will-
personally.
Yeah.
I prefer the mystery.
I prefer the mystery.
I
as
will
well.
ask-
Like, yeah,
I will ask you guys, how do you guys feel about seeing health bars on enemies?
I like it. I didn't
Um,
think I would like it, and then in Abomination Vaults, like I got really into it because, like, well, first of all, I was very scared a lot of the time in Abomination Vaults. So like seeing the hit point bar move, it gave me hope. You know what I'm saying?
You and Remy, but the both of you were just so traumatized.
It gave me hope. It was
They,
like
they both came back from
or-
I do have-
Vietnam.
if we opened up a fight, okay, if we opened up a fight and we're like, take this naked mole rat, and then we do like 50 damage to the naked mole rat, and its hit point bar goes boop, like a little bit, we're like, let's leave. We're going, we're done. We're done here. Like, we're not gonna fight this thing. Like, I think it's really important. Like, I think it's actually, I think it's really immersive. But
I did
know.
bring this. I did install this mod, so this will
Oh,
this
I do
will
like
happen.
that one.
Oh no,
Yeah,
the boss one.
I love the boss.
Yeah.
Boss one. I'm happy with just like the health estimates personally. I think the health bars might get a little screen clogged, and I think the health estimates does a pretty good job.
just mousing over and seeing if it's like
Yeah, I
unharmed,
guess-
blah blah.
But I'd be willing to
Last
give the
legs.
health bars a shot if we all wanted to. I think I would just prefer the health.
It's on its last
estimates
leg.
There it is.
Dang
There it is.
Seems
I'm gonna go back and clip that so people actually know where it's from and they
Yeah.
can remember. So I had a question real quick. So I just tried to steal Tacharo's sandwich that he had. I
My
just started.
fucking sandwich.
So I rolled. So he didn't roll a check. I rolled a check.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So we use. He's like using his passive, like with whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now I'll show you. Here, I'll show you.
Oh,
I'll
man.
put a screenshot
Are
of
we
what I
stealing-
see.
Are we stealing Tacharo's sandwich? I want in on this action.
I will steal a sandwich.
I know it's
Noodle-
a sandwich.
Noodle, get
Yeah,
his.
so
This
brought
is
it up
what
for
I
everyone.
see. This is what I see, Red. It says, you tried to do a disarm.
Oh,
You
it showed
targeted
me.
Charo. His reflex was a DC 17. You rolled a 15. You missed by. You failed by
Oh,
two.
there goes the sandwich. Noodle's got the sandwich now. Damn.
Dang.
Oh, it's
Ain't getting
got
that
Classic,
back.
classic noodle. That was his decoy sandwich.
Excellent. Thievery check.
Okay.
Failed by 7. What?
Yeah, you're doing so bad with these
Oh,
thievery
boy.
checks for the.
You're too far
far.
away.
I'm getting them
Alright,
out now.
hold on.
I'm getting them out now.
In common.
Ooh, she's coming
Okay.
over.
Wait, we can demoralize in other languages? Whoa.
Well, you have to, you
Yeah.
actually
So-
have to share a language, or there's a penalty.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to share a language with the
Dang,
character.
Dom, what's the scale on this map? Miles? Kilometers?
Yes,
It's
it actually is.
American. It's like 1,000 feet to
Yeah,
Chacharo from
Dusty
me.
is 700. Yeah,
Oh, give me
You're
your
so
fucking
afraid.
sandwich.
demoralize, bully.
It's not bullying, we're friends. Give me the sandwich.
Right,
Yeah.
dude.
I
Yeah,
know
dude,
you always have two.
That's a second decoy sandwich. He turns away. He's like, I always have 3.
When you have that, you told me about your special backpack feat where you could just pull out whatever you want.
He
So I
doesn't
believe
have that
it.
one yet. That'll be a third level. Third level, we get the special backpack beat.
Creative diversion.
Damn, and a critical success. Like you go
Yeah.
against me. Hey, listen, I got a wisdom of garbage. I took
So-
voluntary flaws.
I put down. Hey,
That's-
this person's
that's
waving
perfect
over here like, hey, you're
perception.
supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this stuff to me.
Oh,
He's into it.
Oh, so I have a question that was probably posted in
Yeah.
the ad and I didn't pay attention to. How long is the session?
Oh yeah, this is a good. I'm doing 4 hours. I'm used to 4-hour sessions. I
Okay.
advertise 4-hour sessions,
All right.
but I will ask: does anybody want to do less than that?
I'm fine either way. Are you planning to do a break or no?
That's another. That was going to be the next question.
Next
How do you
follow-up,
guys feel
alright.
about breaks?
I
Too
think-
after that. So
Uh,
With
I can go either way.
I mean, breaks are, it's whatever. But yeah, I can.
I will.
I can handle that because yeah, I have like more coverage in the mornings now than I used to. So
Mhm.
like, yeah, that.
I will admit, I get super tired when we get close to 12 a.m. for me.
Mhm.
So, like, I won't say no if you wanted to shorten the session by half an hour, but I also
Okay,
can make it 4 hours.
I mean, I could definitely go 3.5. That'd be cool.
does anybody not want to go? Is okay? Is anybody like, no, I want 4?
There is at least one Wednesday a month where I have to get up at like 6 a.m. So
Mhm.
I definitely am okay with 3.5 hour versus 4 hour. So
I mean, I can go shorter, but if we're in like crazy fight or something.
like three
Yeah,
3.5 with an option to flex to 4.
Yeah,
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 that's what I
Okay.
mean. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm okay with
Alright.
that.
Okay, so baseline we'll do 3.5, and then depending on the situation, we
we're out
want
of-
to end. We want to end at a good point to end. So if we have to go over a bit to end,
10:30, then yeah, we.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, a little flex.
Well,
you know,
I have another rules question then. Okay,
Yeah.
so allegedly, according
Allegedly.
to rumor, there you can't award hero points in the middle of an encounter. But a popular strategy that has developed in the meta of my Pathfinder games is bullshit crash until the session ends mid-combat, so we can continue the combat with full hero points next week. Is that something that would happen in this campaign
Yes.
as well? Okay, great. Nice. We're all laying on the ground dead.
It-
That's when we're like,
it-
so Dom, how's Dragon's Dogma 2 going?
How's
Like,
it going?
yeah, how's that? What's your favorite boss so far?
What are
Like,
those
what's
cats up
yeah,
to?
Yeah.
you've been held up.
Yeah,
lately?
how your cat's doing? You know, check on them real
Um,
quick.
And then we're like,
It
oh,
happened-
you know what? It's, gosh, it's
It
already,
happened
it's
in
already,
Tonight's a
Cyberpunk with
3.5
luck,
an
so-
hour
yeah,
night.
definitely.
Yeah.
Mm.
It happened in Cyberpunk with luck. They refill up at the beginning of every
That's what I'm
session.
talking
No,
about.
It's true.
they have a really big social encounter. They need they're out of luck though. Hey, just, talk a little bit before the end of the session. It's like, oh, okay, next week.
Mm.
See you next
Okay.
week. I'm fine
Yeah,
with it. It's
I know
okay.
we said it earlier. So Fanspirations from the chat and stuff, those are going to be hero points that we share.
Yes, hero points that you share. And if you want to use those hero points to do the heroic recovery, where you prevent yourself from increasing your dying value to just stabilize, it drains all of the fanspo. So you can have 5 fanspo. If you want to use that to save somebody, all 5 fanspos have to go.
I also
You drain
just
all
want
the
to.
fanspos and you have Doom
Ooh,
4.
that
but you have-
that actually brings up something good. There is an amazing Pathfinder kid on our server, Quasi Ryan. Okay, and this guy This guy, he finds paths.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He finds
Yeah.
paths.
Mhm.
He kind of pointed out to me something that like I had been like trying to put into words, but I couldn't really get it down. So there are people that are like, I want my character to live, and so they will sit on that last hero point all session, and maybe even lose that hero point every session because they want to make sure that they've got that hero point to save their character if the character goes down. Right?
Yep.
There are players like that, and then there's people that burn all of their hero points in the first 30 seconds of the session.
Mhm.
He describes those people as players who are just excited to roll and win and maybe try new builds. And
Mhm.
when he put it like that, I was like, okay, I kind of get that. But I feel like if you are that kind of player, we as a community shouldn't have to lose all of our accumulated fanspo because you blew your dice in the first 30
Fanspo
seconds.
load.
Do you
we
know
know
what I'm
who
saying?
that player is, and we don't. We just deny their request.
Okay,
Yeah, I was gonna,
okay.
Yeah, I
I was
mean,
gonna also bring up
so
like
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
this
So
is
I
one of
just
those
think
things
it
where
needs to be out in the open that, like, if you find, right, as we're playing the game, that you're like, you know what, my build's cool and all, but I certainly wouldn't mind trying a different build, and I'm just gonna play fast and loose, and that's fine. Like, let us kind of know a little bit, because then, like, if you're dying on the ground, we don't, like, you know, try to force resuscitation you know, kind of thing. Because there's someone in this group that I know for a fact I think would sell their own soul to the devil to try to save somebody else's character. That the character death hits them very hard, and like
I don't know who you're talking about.
Sweating.
It's not
Sweating.
me. It's never me.
So if there is somebody who finds themselves in that position, maybe like don't keep it a secret. You know what I'm saying? Because like losing like 6 fanspo is, you know, kind of a big deal if you didn't actually really want to be saved. You know.
So
Like,
I'll say this. Fanspo has to be a group decision for everybody. Like you guys have to agree to use it for that. And if one person disagrees, I think it should be, you know, it has to be a unanimous thing that we want to spend all of this to save this person, if that's the case. On the other hand, too, if you at the point where you feel like you want to change characters and retire a character and come up with a new one, please let me know. I am 100% okay with somebody retiring a character and bringing a new one. We did it in Cyberpunk when somebody just said, you know, they wanted to try something new and, you know, wanted to get a new character. I'm 100% okay with that. We're all here to have fun and enjoy the game. And we also have the respecs too. So if you're not 100% sure yet, you can always completely rechange it during the respec.
it's all,
They don't
yeah.
have to die for you to play.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to die to-
and
yeah.
that's so
True.
important. That's so important
Yep.
to mention this, because this game has a notorious feature called the death spiral. The game is very meticulously balanced. If we lose one active PC, the weight that the rest of us are carrying goes up like exponentially. God forbid we lose 2 out of 3 in one fight, it's basically over if we don't run away. Like, there are, you know, it just becomes insurmountable, especially if it's a boss where all of us are having to contribute towards like one person making a hit, and now we don't have all those people to contribute, or because of the very specialized class roles that come into play in this more, you know, balanced system. Again, we don't have healing word. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have healing word to just solve all of our problems and slap a band-aid on it. So like, if you're like, man, maybe I'll die tonight so I can play my cool skeleton barbarian, Clavicos, and it's like everyone would love to see Clavicos. That's fantastic. We definitely support Clavicos, but I don't want to also die alongside you so that you can play Clavicos. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said,
And if anyone wants to play
1000%.
Clavicos, I'll send you his build. It's pretty good.
I saw that spirit barbarians can grapple ghosts,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think that's really cool. I want to give a ghost a nugget.
yeah. And
Anyway,
Ghost
like I
of
said-
Nuki.
I'll say it
you think
again.
you're so cool, ghost? Come over here.
If you ever want to you know, change your character out, like not even just the like, you know, the build, like the character, like you want to, you know, bring a new ancestry, a new thing like that. You want to have a new, you want to play a different type of person. Just let me know. We'll work something out.
And maybe just
I'm not gonna say-
maybe just pull a Scanlan from Critical Role. Like you set the character aside for a bit because you just don't know what to do with them, or you just don't feel like they would vibe with the party for this arc or something like that. And then you play something that is vibing with the arc, and then you bring them back when everything's back to normal. Like we had that happen in Red Hand Remix. We had a character
Red Hand,
that was like, I will not go on this mission, and so they played as like one of the NPCs for a long time because the mission took forever, and then they brought back their original character after it was done.
Yep.
But yeah, all of
Makes
that is
sense.
preferable to, because like you've probably heard from Remy by now, but like Lars just wakes up one morning and he's like, I think I'm just going to be a different character today. So I'll kill my current character. It's like, no, please don't. That's not, please.
Oh, we
Yeah.
don't bring up AV.
Yeah, every time you guys talk
Yeah,
about
every-
abomination vaults, it's like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching someone have a war flashback in front of me. I'm like, do you need
Yeah,
help?
it's Soggy. It's always the same.
Do you need do I need to bring you somewhere? Are you okay?
Oh, and real quick before I forget, the Faxpiration is just a +1 to your roll either before or after. That's the
Yes.
question we answered. That's the roleplay question we answered at the beginning.
Yes, that's a real big question. Yeah, you can just add, you can if you fail by one, you need to add a 1 to it. You got it.
All right, cool.
Excellent. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have a
Alrighty.
question. Is anybody planning to have a character voice? Or should I just listen for the cues of like, so-and-so says this? Or should I assume that you're always in character as a fellow player?
I'll figure out a bad X then. Don't worry. Give it a week.
Okay. So,
I probably have inflection. I would love to try and be in character all the time, but I don't know. I feel like I have a hard time doing it.
I practice super hard to get a nice, like, South African accent so I could run Tomb of Annihilation. And within 10 seconds of trying to use the accent, all of my friends, because it was a friends and family game, made fun of me so hard that I gave up on character voices for like a year and a half. Like it was so bad. So I look forward to anybody that's attempting character voices for this. So it'll be very interesting.
I can only do British and vaguely Russian, so I'm kind of.
Oh,
I
nice.
mean, your Western accent's pretty good.
That's true. I play an NPC in Dragon Lords with a really thick Western accent, so I had lots of practice on it. So that was
nice.
pretty good too. But I do 3, and that's it. So probably not. I'm probably just gonna talk normally.
Yeah, I'm undecided at the moment.
Mm,
I'm still filling out the character, exactly who they are.
fair.
I can give Vanji a Western accent. That'd be pretty in character, you know.
Now,
Really.
Well, if
I
you
would-
want a link to the Faxpirations, you could just between now and next week answer all 300 Faxpiration questions ahead of
Then you're
time.
ready to go.
True,
And-
true. By next week, I might have something.
Yeah. You might know a little bit more about your character after that.
And yourself with some of those meta questions.
Yeah, for sure.
all right.
Is Noodle always transparent?
Noodle is a ghost. Yes.
Ah,
That's cool that you picked Ghost for your
He's a ghost
Eidolon.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, little ghost guy.
I'm sure I'll find out all about how bad ghosts are in
Oh.
this system.
Honestly, Red,
Uh,
we knocked a ghost prone, so they ain't that tough.
Wonderful.
Casper, no.
I almost had to walk away from my computer when we knocked the ghost prone. And the GM was like, well, yeah, you could knock ghost prone. You have a ghost touch weapon. I'm like,
No, the ghost is floundering, and
No. I've been informed that there is no floundering in Pathfinder because I did have somebody flounder in the water at one point. There's no floundering in Pathfinder. So
we got a lot to learn and
because
unlearn.
swimming is worse than lava in Pathfinder. So
Oh, great!
yeah,
Also-
you're actually better just jumping in lava than you are jumping in a lake. I'm not 100% sure
So
how that works.
yes,
but-
because in Pathfinder, jumping in the lava, you actually can walk across it. You
Yeah.
just be taking lots of fire damage.
Oh,
Yeah.
so slowly sink in. I see.
Well, I don't even know if they do
No.
quicksand lava. They
No,
just
it doesn't sink. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You don't sink.
Oh,
It's just
but-
very hot, and apparently in real life, that's kind of how it is too. Unless you're really very dense, you don't sink into lava. You actually
Awesome.
Pathfinder
That's
devs
They're
are
on top of it.
themselves, with this physics of the real world. So they know.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
dedicated interns.
They got some
Yeah.
like the theater kids took over 5e, and then all the nerds, all they had left was Pathfinder, and like it's just it's so highbrow sometimes. Like,
And they're out there studying the viscosity of
Yeah.
lava. You know,
I'm here for the water though. I mean, you know, you guys.
Oh, right,
what do you do
yeah.
with water?
I hear boat races are
What?
popular.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're-
Very fun.
one thing too, and let me just check real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4 by 3. Okay, so I will let you know this now. You guys are going to have your own dorm room, you know, at some point, and
We don't have to share. I feel like more fun if we share.
no, you have your own room.
This is-
Inside that room, you're gonna have your own chest. So I saw somebody made their own storage. So I'll add that. I'm gonna throw that into once we get there into in the story during the campaign. I'll throw that in there. But yes, keep in mind you guys are students at a university that is a an organization that you're gonna be living there and doing stuff. You don't have to worry about running around with a bedroll.
I,
You
I,
don't have
have,
to worry about
I have a question.
Mhm.
Okay, so with our rooms, is it
Mm-hmm.
possible that we could, since we're a cohort, have one common area that the 5 rooms all connect to?
No, there's actually a built-in dorm building, and you guys are gonna have rooms inside those dorm buildings, sharing it with other students as well. So there is a common
We
room.
get to pick though.
outside.
Yes, you'll be able to pick your
We
room.
can just all pick all next to each other, maybe.
Okay. Are we allowed to
Yeah.
modify our rooms in Incarnate?
I will let you modify your specific room. Yes.
Okay. Do we get extra credit for doing that?
How big
No.
are the rooms?
It's gonna be. They're actually slightly different. So depending on who gets so when you guys get there, you're gonna have to
Fight for it.
Draw straws.
pick rooms,
Okay.
Man,
and some of them are
That-
different sizes than others.
that reminds me of like real college. So
Yeah.
when we
Some
had,
of them have windows, some of them don't.
I had a roommate. He was like a 280-pound football player, and in order to establish dominance, I was like, I get the bottom bunk, and he was like, he stared at me, and I stared at him, and he was like, okay, and I regretted it immediately because every night I feared for my life because he was he was just bending the whole bed with his mass, and so like his ass was like maybe 8 inches above me by the time the bed like settled to his weight. But I couldn't go back on it after winning the dominance display. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. This is just bringing back some bad college memories here.
So
Do we have roommates?
yeah,
We get our own room. We just have to.
you have your own room.
Now we can
And this-
we can fight other students for the rooms. We just can't murder them.
You can maim them though. I bet.
We'll see how that turns out.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Which
We're gonna meet
branch-
the dean. We're gonna meet the dean real quick. We're gonna meet the prefect.
We can steal their key if they can't get in their room.
Okay,
It's our room.
so do they have prank wars? Because I mean,
There's gonna be prank wars. Don't you
sorry,
worry.
all these college
Worry.
memories are coming back. You guys,
Don't worry. We'll when the game starts and you guys meet the rest of your
Oh, yeah.
alumni.
rest of the students that are also here, you'll see.
Okay, there better be a Draco Malfoy for me to not really romance, but kind of romance. Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah. So, just
All your characters,
Uh-huh.
I believe, are going to have NPC that they get along with really well.
Oh, okay.
That's what you think,
Nice.
Dom. I'm gonna be
And-
the most unlikable charisma character ever.
Man, one of my characters.
Like looking at based on the backstories and the things that you guys have said already. I already have an NPC that I know it's gonna, you're probably gonna get along with.
Yeah, I'm with. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not modifying those NPCs either. They just turned out to be pretty well. There's good diverse of characters here.
Is there cohort rivalries? Like, are we gonna have like an anti-BC?
Yes,
Oh,
there's other cohorts, and they all live in the same dormitory as you, and in other dormitories as well.
I'm gonna prank
Do
him.
the cohorts?
Mhm.
Do they name to get names?
You're gonna have to. I mean, that's up to you guys if you want to name yourselves. But yes, yes,
Okay.
I expect the name.
Do
At some
they
point.
publish
Obviously.
the results of the tests like on a big board?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You'll learn about that during the first session.
You're killing us, Dom. You said it was
Are
like
there-
My Hero. My Hero has a
Tease it.
board. Which
Yeah, you'll
is
find
it?
out.
Okay.
Okay, real question. Should I watch My Hero? I haven't watched it yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you
No,
can.
your
Yeah, yeah.
your heart is too soft for that stuff, man. Don't do that. Don't do
It's a good
that.
show.
Just
Well,
watch-
no.
Just watch
It's gonna be good.
just watch Wednesday on Netflix. They go to a spooky
No,
school.
Red. If you watch it, there's gonna be a moment where, like, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but it's gonna come back around.
Oh
and you're
my
gonna be like,
god!
We're not pulling punches. You're gonna
You're
cry.
gonna hurt.
You are going
Yes,
to
you're gonna-
cry
you're
a
gonna-
lot.
yeah.
You're gonna cry
Yes.
so much.
It's a good thing
But when,
I've already practiced
when
that.
it turns around, though, like, you're gonna be like, man,
You still,
so
Dude.
proud of these kids.
Alright.
yeah.
I watched the
alright.
anime. I don't know what they're talking
Dom,
about.
I didn't say that I cried because it was sad all the time. I cry when I'm proud of them too. I'm like, they work so hard.
Exactly.
They
Exactly.
overcome so much. Yeah, it's bad. Not as bad as Freerun or whatever. I cry pretty
Oh,
much the
man.
entire
Oof.
time I watch that show. Every episode just
So
sob
sad.
uncontrollably. The older you are, I think the harder that show hits you. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
it's really bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
I watched Dungeon Meshi recently. That's my cool anime. It was a cooking show anime.
You
Oh,
cried
yeah.
watching that one, or
Yeah.
Well, did you watch Delicious in a
did.
Dungeon?
Oh, is that what it's called? Yeah.
Oh, I
did watch
guess
that.
that's the
I mean,
that's the
That's
translation,
that's the Japanese name. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a cooking show. I really like
It's
it. I
really
finished it.
good. It's really
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
It's very Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I really liked the mimic episode and how they ate the mimic, and I was like, man, I wish I could eat D&D monsters. They'd probably taste pretty good.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
You can,
Mm.
but nowadays they call that poaching endangered species. So
that's not illegal.
like for example, I know where we could get a unicorn. It's a little fat and gray, but we could cook it up, but we'll probably go to jail. So
That's worth it.
yeah.
I mean, I know a good lawyer.
Mm. All right.
Alrighty. So yeah, I think I'm good on my on all the topics that I had. So
Okay.
unless anybody else has any other questions, I think we're good.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream, and that'll be that. Thank you everybody for hanging out and for the advice and the tips and that big fat dump of subs, and then that other big fat dump of fanspo. So it's a very nice stream there. Good stuff.
Come back in next week and watch us actually play the game for session 1 of Strength of Thousands.
Yeah, but don't
Also-
come back. Don't come back here. Go
Oh, not
to
here,
Red
no.
Kobold Gaming. I'll you know what? I'll just raid Red after every Kingmaker prep. That'll be the best way to just transition.
Is it right after?
Yeah, I do Kingmaker prep right until this game starts. So
Okay.
yeah,
sweet.
so I'll just raid you, and then we'll be good to go.
God, if only we had like a feature that just like automatically allowed you to like.
Oh
Yeah.
right, yeah,
Share
that'd be
your friend-
so cool. That'd be really neat. It would really be a good way to
Really
build
good to-
community and stuff.
really hard to program that. I don't know if they can manage that.
You know, they are a small indie company owned by an even smaller indie company, so
You got to
know.
respect the devs sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
You know?
true. All right. On that note, I'm going to end this.